to our 155th weekly webcast. Now, this week we're going to be doing a very special webcast with a special guest named Payton Kaleiwahea, who is the founder of GameReport.com. Now, at GameReport.io, you can learn everything there is to know about blockchain gaming. And Payton is an expert in the red-hot emerging video game NFT blockchain investing market, where fortunes are being made. And what Payton's going to do is he's going to explain how we can learn more about and hopefully profit from this new incredible market. Now, the interview with Payton's going to last about 30 minutes at the start now of this webcast, including your questions for Payton. And then for the rest of the webcast, please ask me anything as always. And if you're getting value out of this weekly call-in, only if you're getting value, then please like, share, and subscribe. So let me go ahead and introduce Payton. So in addition to being an expert in NFTs, blockchain, and gaming, Payton is also a surface warfare officer in the United States Navy. He and his wife, Hannah, and their 2 children live in beautiful San Diego. And he's actually one of my amazing students, and he inspires me so much. Now, Payton is the industry expert in NFT blockchain gaming, and he actually told me that an incredible new blockchain game called Axie Infinity just made close to $1 billion in 1 month in microtransactions. And this is unbelievable because this is actually twice as much as what Activision generated last month in microtransactions from Call of Duty, Warcraft, Candy Crush, Overwatch, all those combined. It's unbelievable. Now, Payton not only is the founder of GameReport.io, but he also has an incredible YouTube channel that you have to subscribe to. And he actually recently launched a channel just focused to blockchain gaming. And so it is my honor and great privilege to have Payton with us today. So let's get started. Payton, thank you so much for joining us today. Before I ask my first question, I just want to mention if anybody has questions for Payton, please type them here in the YouTube chat. My first question is, please briefly explain NFTs and what is NFT gaming, and thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, great question. So NFTs stand for non-fungible tokens. Yep. And that's honestly probably just like the worst kind of name for what they actually do. So right. I'll kind of put it into a little bit more layman's terms. So an NFT, non-fungible token, represents a deed. It represents ownership to a specific asset that is held on the blockchain. Okay. So it shows that you have ownership of a NFT, very similar to like a deed to your house. So if a government official comes or an FBI agent comes, knocks on your door, you can show like, hey, I'm not trespassing on a property. I actually own this house. So when it comes to NFTs, people can go into the blockchain and see that you currently own that NFT. Okay. And so I think when it comes to gaming, it's going to be huge for the fact that they're giving the weapon skins, the weapons, everything like that back to the players in ownership through NFTs. So through deeds. And on those specific NFTs, you can sell them on the secondary exchange. And those secondary exchange, it can be for like a sword or for like a game skin. Just think about it like in terms of Fortnite or Roblox. Right. These games, a lot of people put a lot of hard sweat and tears and get these skins or get these weapons, but then they don't have actually ownership of them. It's actually owned by Epic, or it's owned by Activision, owned by Take-Two Interactive when it comes to Grand Theft Auto or anything like that. Right. But when it comes to NFT gaming, it's giving ownership back to the players. All that hard work that they do, like raiding on World of Warcraft or anything like that, getting a legendary sword, you actually can go around and take that sword and then sell it on a secondary exchange for money like fiat, or actually on cryptocurrency. That's where kind of everything's going. When it comes to that. So NFT gaming is going to be huge, like how microtransactions was huge for video games. This is the next evolution, which is going to be awesome. I'm super excited for it.
That's amazing. Great. Thanks for the explanation. So can you please give me just a couple of examples of the top companies in the NFT gaming market? And is it kind of like playing a game like World of Warcraft or Call of Duty online? Thank you.
Yeah, that's a great question. In terms of like World of Warcraft and Call of Duty, we're not there just yet. We're kind of like, this is kind of year 1, or some people even say year 0 of the crypto gaming market, that there's so many upcoming releases. There's not actual games to be played right now. So if you're getting this information, you are very early to the NFT space, but also super early to the NFT gaming space, because there's just not a lot of playable things out there. Number one, upfront, king of the hill is Axie Infinity. Axie Infinity, you already did the information about it in your intro, but Axie Infinity, compared to these video game makers, these AAA studios that have been 30 years, 40 years in business, Axie Infinity has almost grossed like $1 billion worth of revenue, and it's only been out since 2017. Incredible. And that's done using NFTs, smart contracts, and blockchain gaming. That's checkmate. It's like super awesome. And Axie Infinity definitely going to be the top one. But just some information for your guests, if you want to kind of get into the NFT gaming space, or kind of some of these upcoming games that are going to be huge. One of them is called Citus NFT Heroes. So Citus NFT Heroes is one of these type of games that you can own an NFT, and then it gives you access to the game to be able to play. And it can raise in value through three major ways. You can stake it and earn royalties. You can get money off the secondary exchange, which is just after you sell a different NFT, it kind of goes into this pot, and that pot is split with everybody that holds those NFTs. And then lastly, you can play the game, and you can find things in the game to be able to sell in the secondary market. So there's a play to earn mechanic as well. Another one is Cryo War, the Sandbox. And I know you're big in platforms. So the Sandbox is something really big. It's actually land plots that are held on the digital blockchain on Ethereum. And you can either rent it out to game developers to build upon your land. You can host things, and the companies that are invested in the Sandbox are like Snoop Dogg. There is Atari. There's The Walking Dead. A lot of these big companies are getting into the Sandbox because it is a platform, Chris. It's just one of those things that they empower creators to create things, and they're building a moat around themselves to be kind of that destination. And it's kind of like pixelated, like Roblox and Minecraft, which is pretty cool. Yeah,
and the younger generation loves that. My kids play Minecraft all the time. So is it kind of like, do you think we'll get to the point in the near future where it's like the video game Uncharted, and how you can walk around in Uncharted, solve puzzles, and you find these little treasures every now and then you take these treasures that you find and then you sell them as NFTs? Is that how it works?
Yeah, so there's kind of two ways that you can do it, right? And this is still very new, so there's going to be a lot of innovation in the space, so I'm super excited about it. But when it comes to like Uncharted or like an RPG, let's say that you limit the cap of supply for the first 10,000 people that get to the end of the game, or that find a Easter egg in it, like Ready Player One type of thing. Well, when it comes to those, there's only a limited supply, right? We love limited supply because it can't be fungible, it can't be anything, so people can assign value once demand comes. So let's say that you go into Uncharted and you're walking around with the character, and you find something that's rare, and it's like 1 out of 50. Then somebody that really loves the game, just like baseball cards or any collectibles, they can actually buy it off of you in the secondary market. And you can do that. Another type of thing is like kind of like Halo, right? You get a lot of like kills, and you go through like these kind of like weapon modifications. Those modifications can be NFTs. So somebody that has like 10,000 sniper kills or whatever can get like this specific armor that's limited, and then sell that in the secondary marketplace too. So it's a whole different dynamic in terms of revenue, for the fact that when it comes to these traditional game companies, Activision, Take-Two, or EA, they have to keep on creating content for the economy to keep on thriving. Like Fortnite, they have to do seasons after seasons after seasons. But if you actually just front load the work, have a lot of value given there. There's going to be updates, of course, but you have a lot of value in like these skins, these weapons. They can actually sell for a lot of money, and then you just collect a fee as passive income for the platform.
That's awesome. So I play a lot of video games, online sports games, etc. One of my favorite ones is MLB The Show, baseball game. And we get these baseball cards in the game, and they're given to us free. Do you think we'll ever get to a point where you're given like a rare digital baseball card? This is a replica of a T206 $7 million card, where you're given like a rare baseball card that's digital, one of one, only one exists, and then you can turn around and sell it on a platform. And if you can sell it on a platform, what platform do you go to sell it on? Yeah, so when it comes to like digital art or like baseball cards or anything like that, it's definitely within the realm of possibility. There's actually a lot of like artists that are being supported through NFTs because it gives them back like the power to create things, but it's a limited supply. So instead of like a painting
it being one of one, right? In a museum, excuse me, one of one, you can make something and then be selling it on OpenSea or any other type of marketplace that might be coming up and coming.
What is that? Open what? What was that?
OpenSea.io. That's a website, a platform that's probably the most
Okay.
it's the most used website when it comes to selling NFTs in the secondary market.
Okay,
so that's the platform that you can use.
So you play a video game, you get a digital thing, NFT, then you go to OpenSea.io.
You can. So it has to coincide with that blockchain. So OpenSea is used for Ethereum and a lot of Ethereum NFTs, but a lot of companies now are taking it in an in-house marketplace because their gas fees are so high.
Right.
And so just for people that don't understand gas fees for a little bit, gas fees it's pretty much the work that is being done to make a new block in the blockchain. And so when it comes to that, if a lot of people are using it, which the NFT craze and all that kind of stuff is bringing a lot of demand towards it, that increases the gas. So some people are actually paying thousands to $2,000s to millions of dollars for gas. I think there was a previous news article that's a company that tried to buy one of these like CryptoPunks or any of these type of NFTs, paid upwards of $23 million in terms of NFTs being minted. So there's also barriers to entry when it comes to NFTs because it's becoming a kind of gas war type of space, which is not fun. But that's why there's a lot of other blockchains that have been rising to the top because they are a lot cheaper and the barriers to entry for a consumer is very low.
Right. So if I wanted to go to a website right now and play a video game and make money by getting an NFT, what website would I go to?
You could go to so Axie Infinity is probably one of them. There's Crypto Blades.
How do you spell
web-based
that?
browsers.
Axie Infinity, is it?
Yeah, AXIEINFINTY, AxieInfinity.com. And so, but it's so talking about barriers to entry, Axie Infinity has a barrier to entry because you have to buy 3 NFTs, which are pricey on the Ethereum blockchain or on their marketplace. Actually, they have a marketplace on their website. And then you have to connect your wallet. So there's just a lot of things that needs to be done for you to play the game.
It's pay to play. So how much you have to spend in NFTs in order to be able to play Axie Infinity?
So Axie Infinity, you have to pay upwards of $1,000 to actually get in there.
To play.
So that's pay to play. But there's a lot of other gaming companies right now that are becoming free to play. So there are going to be things like that, and even scholarships are happening with Axie Infinity, where people are lending out their Axies for people to play and to earn. So it's usually like a 60-40% split, where 60% goes to the person that you're sponsoring and letting you use your Axie, and then 40% goes to the person that owns those Axies. So there's an asset to it too. So it's kind of like buying a house and then renting it out, right? So it's kind of like, that's what it is. And that's the utility behind these NFTs. So if you peel back the layer of that JPEG, that first layer, then you start seeing the possibilities of NFTs. So just don't stop at the JPEGs is what I'm saying.
That's fascinating because I used to work at Goldman Sachs and I worked in the hedge fund industry for years. And one of the biggest money makers in the hedge fund market are the prime brokerage firms like the Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley's, UBS's of the world. And what they do is they have a department called stock loan. And they lend out those shares to hedge funds and they make a fortune off of lending those shares. So maybe NFT, there could be some sort of stock loan business model longer term that financial services firms want to get into. Why would you pay $1,000? Like, what's the return on investment?
So a lot of it's collectibles, and so this is the issue where it is for blockchain gaming, is that it's collectibles, but also a lot of people that have been playing Axie Infinity have been playing it for a long time, right? So there's a run up of price. So a lot of these people that bought Axies for like $1, $2 now own these assets that are worth $300, $400 a piece.
Wow.
And so for them, it's like so cheap, right? To just do and suspend these monies. What do you mean my Axie is like over 300% gains? Like I'll just be able to like lend it out or sell it. I'll buy another Axie. It doesn't really matter. And also the cryptocurrency is appreciating as well, right? So people that bought Ethereum back in 2017, if they held and played Axies the whole time, now your asset is from like, spending $50 for Ethereum now all the way up to 3,000, 4,000, and possibly 10,000 in the near future.
I got it.
So like it's that's the barrier to entry, but there are a lot of companies like Solana, like Elrond, like these specific blockchains that are coming up, these layer ones, Cardano. There are these layer ones that are coming to the top because it's cheaper to be able to do transactions, because the proof of work model is very high in gas fees. It's all driven, man.
I understand. Now, so So it's kind of like before you play Axie Infinity, you pay $1,000, and that's like buying a crypto, or crypto's worth $1,000 that could go up in price. If you just sit on them, you can make money, or you can play the game and make more money by finding virtual gems and stuff. Is that right?
Yes, you can do that. They're called SLP or love potions, and then you can breed those NFTs, and that's how the secondary market is established. So you have these Axies, and then you give them like this love potion, and then they breed, and then you sell that breed to the secondary market. That's also something with like a company that's just about to release like a beta, which is D-Race.
Yeah.
Which D-Race is a horse betting game in which that like you can buy horse NFTs and then you can breed them and then you can sell them on the secondary market. So there it is an inflation-based currency of those NFTs, but at the same time too, you have like these NFTs that are going to be able to race and then also make you money in the race game, and then you can also bet on them and all that kind of stuff. And that's all denominated in their cryptocurrency DERC.
It's fascinating. You know, I have three boys, bless you, and they don't have as many toys as I did growing up because they own digital rights to stuff in the cloud, and that's the YouTube generation. I grew up watching YouTube, TikTok, playing Minecraft, etc. And so I could envision a world where they want to buy and own digital versions of different products. Unlike my generation that likes to buy, physical versions. Okay, this is starting to make a lot more sense. Okay, great.
And also, just to point something out too, is like, what is social status now, right? So there's like generations of like Gucci or Supreme that like you buy those, and that's kind of your social status. Like right now, the social status for Gen Zers are what skin on Fortnite do you have? You know what I mean? Like what kind of weapon that you have. And so, and that's just the age of COVID, where everyone's locked down and you get to play with your specific friends. How else are you supposed to like flex on your friends or show social status that like, you're committed to this game and you're committed to this ecosystem? But now just imagine for a second that you own all those things and then you can also sell them. I think also parents will look at it in a different way, saying you're just wasting your time. It's like, well, I just made like $1,000 a month just selling my skins off Fortnite.
Amazing, dude. Amazing. Just incredible. Okay, great. So my next question for you is, how are these NFT gaming companies starting to make more money this fast? More money than Activision and microtransactions, just given the fact these companies have been only around for a couple of years. How are they scaling so quickly versus Activision, which has been around for decades?
Okay, so we could zoom out real quick on the macro. So there's one thing is that in July of 2021, there was only 800,000 active like crypto video game users. That was by DApp Radar. They posted an article, and the leader of the pack was Axie Infinity. That's going to 2.9 billion gamers worldwide. And I do have like a crazy type of prediction that all of gaming will be NFT gaming in some regards. And so the first way they like these gaming companies are competing with them is those fees, those transactions, and giving power back to the gamers, because they don't pretty much have to do anything. All they have to do is create the platform, and then all of us do the work in terms of selling. It's like, hey, Chris, buy the sword off of me for $50. Just imagine for a second World of Warcraft being a NFT blockchain game. You go on raids with 50 people on a raid, on a dungeon, and then you kill the boss and you get this legendary weapon that's like probably super rare, like a 0.003% drop. Then now you get to sell that on the secondary exchange. But then on the other side, if you go behind the curtain, you get a fee that's attached to it. So OpenSea has like a 5% fee. So every single time that excuse me, allergies.
Bless you.
Every time that there's a 5% fee tagged on, that goes back to the company. So that's how like Axie Infinity, Sky Mavis Studios are making so much money, is because every single time an Axie is getting transacted, they're attaching a fee to it.
Fascinating, brother. All right. So I want to learn a little bit more about your company. Can you tell me a little bit more about GameReport.io, your website? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that. GameReport.io is somewhere that I want people to land for investors and gamers to have transparency for the crypto world, especially for crypto video games. Crypto is the Wild West. It's very unregulated. You can get rug pulled, which means that like a developer can just take all your money and run, especially if they're anonymous. And so when it comes to Game Report, our mission is to cause transparency for these companies. I've reached out to companies such as Zydus NFT Heroes. They've been very transparent with me, Cryo War, and these companies are talking to the Game Report. And I'm giving that information and saying like, hey, this is a trusted company. I'm doing valuation, fundamentals, and technical analysis. Everything that I've learned in your MBA degree, I'm applying it to crypto video games.
Cool.
And so for me, like I do your 51 step framework when it comes to cryptos. I apply it to there because it can be very dangerous. And so you have to ask the questions that you do for that: fundamentals, valuations, technical analysis, not that much for me, but like valuations and fundamentals. Are these like, is the people leading this game company, are they reputable? What have they done in the past? Where are they going? Where's their head at? And so that's kind of what I do, is I kind of dissect that and then give it to the gamers and the investors so they can feel a little bit more confident for the investing their hard-earned money, because it can be very dangerous.
I love it. You're the best, dude. So Wayne Gretzky is my hero as a Canadian. And the reason he was so successful is Gretzky always said he didn't skate to where the puck is, rather he skates where the puck is going to be. And so you're kind of like Gretzky right now. You're so ahead of the curve. You're investing in something. You're creating an entire ecosystem at GameReport.io, right? So that you can educate other people and make a fortune before the rest of the market gets there. So I respect you for that. I love it. And that's what you're doing is exactly what that's my hockey reference of the day. What you're doing is exactly what Gary Vaynerchuk has been doing for many years. He finds a new platform, right, that he thinks is going to do extraordinarily well. He latches it onto it before anybody else. And then he becomes the authority, and he does incredibly well because of that. Okay, nice. So let's move on to scams now. So let's talk about scams because I have so many students that have lost a lot of money in cryptocurrency scams. So how safe is NFT gaming, and what advice do you have for us about avoiding NFT-related gaming video game scams? Thank you.
Yeah, great question. And this is something that's a bear case for the NFT gaming market. And I'm going to be completely transparent.
Sure.
It's very, very dangerous. Like when it comes to cryptocurrencies in general, right? And then NFTs is a whole sub-niche of that. And then within the sub-niche of NFTs, there is crypto gaming. So it's kind of the Wild West of the Wild West sometimes when it comes to this. And that's why I think there's a need for the Game Report to be transparent. But cryptocurrencies in general, like you've seen it all the time, like fake accounts, people that's stealing your profile picture and then going down below and saying like, hey, DM me on WhatsApp and then transfer money to it. Like, don't ever do that. So you need to make sure that like you're validating the people that are reaching out to you. And to be honest, when it comes to cryptocurrencies, like trust like really no one when it comes to this. Some scams that are really bad right now in the NFT market are happening on two platforms, Solana and Ethereum.
Can you explain? Like, I know what Ethereum is. Ethereum is a platform where you trade Ether, their token, and most ICOs occur on the Ethereum platform and NFTs. What is this Solana thing?
Solana is another layer one blockchain. So Ethereum has a blockchain that is built upon proof of work. The Solana blockchain is built on proof of stake, and it requires a little bit more computing power to be able to do the transactions. Okay. But 50,000 transactions a second is what can be done.
Wow.
In Solana. And so when it comes to Solana, you have to kind of, there's this triangle of like triangle of when it comes to layer one blockchains. It's either speed, security, or decentralization. You know, Bitcoin, very priority is like security. So they're going to sacrifice speed and they also have decentralization. But like Ethereum, you know, they have the speed sometimes, speed not so much, but decentralization. And for Solana, like the decentralization piece is not there. So you had an issue where 17 hours it was down because the nodes for Solana were just very centralized. So you have to just be careful of that too when looking for an L1 that you want to invest in a layer one. But Solana, very fast, and it matches the gaming, right? So gamers sometimes don't even care about decentralization, but all they care about is speed.
Yeah, okay, Solana's like Ethereum, but faster. I gotcha. That's awesome. Okay, cool. And it's so interesting because my kids, like, they don't like to use wireless controllers to play video games. They like wired because speed is so important for them as well. Okay, so Solana makes sense with NFT gaming because it's faster than Ethereum.
Yeah, and there are a lot of the companies that are investing into games. So there's a AAA title, Star Atlas, that's going to be out in like 5 years. That's going to be built on the Solana blockchain because they need that transactions per second, right? So it would be very boring for a game for Ethereum that you do something in the game, then you have to wait like 10 minutes or 5 minutes or 3 minutes for it to actually settle on the blockchain. So the 50,000 transactions a second, and there's a lot of other like good L1s as well.
I love it because when I boot up my PS5 or PS4 or whatever, it takes 8 million years before I start the game. I lose patience. Okay, let me move on to, okay, it's still early days for NFT gaming, but I kind of get the impression that, what cryptos are to traditional paper-based fiat currency, NFTs are in gaming to video game companies from a disruption perspective.
Yeah.
So my question is, do you think companies like Electronic Arts or Take-Two or Steam will enter this market?
They're already doing it. So Steam is actually aligning to the Phantasma chain,
right?
And a lot of other layer 1 blockchains so I forget what the name of the game is, and I apologize to devs if they're watching this, but it's a formula race where every single part of the car is a NFT, and you can actually build your game through NFTs, and it's built on the Phantasma chain, which is not a very well-known layer 1, but that layer 1 Phantasma chain is built for NFT games.
Okay.
When it comes to Activision, Take-Two, EA, the big heavy hitters, or Ubisoft or anything like that, Ubisoft's already kind of getting into it, but the EA, Activision, and Take-Two, they have to get into it, and they will get into it, but they just need to figure out how. I don't know if that's going to be by acquiring or partnering.
Yeah.
That's kind of like Ubisoft's thing is partnering.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Take-Two, Activision, and EA, right?
Yeah.
It's this golden goose. You're making billions of dollars every single year.
Yeah.
And then you have to go to the shareholders.
Yeah.
As you taught me, you have to go to the shareholders and say, I want to change all of my business model. And Netflix, right? That video that you posted, disrupt yourself. Those shareholders are not going to want to disrupt themselves because, especially after COVID, right?
Yeah.
It's are you kidding me? We've had our best year. What do you mean that we have to pivot to NFT gaming?
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard to do that. And so they're going to see that competition come up really quickly.
Yeah.
And it was within a few months that Axie Infinity went from no revenue at all, or very small, to 800 million in a month.
That's crazy.
In a month, and that's
amazing.
That's 19. And just to put this in perspective, 800 million in a month with 19 million monthly active users versus Activision Blizzard making 1.3 billion dollars in 3 months in microtransactions with Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, Overwatch, Hearthstone that have hundreds of monthly active users.
Yeah.
It's just astronomical in terms of the revenue and how it can be made.
Incredible. So I've been investing in video games, publicly traded video game companies for decades. And if I compare and contrast, Activision to Electronic Arts, I think Activision is going to be more innovative and do much better in Electronic Arts because the founder, Bobby Kotick, is still running Activision, and shareholders allow you to get away with a lot more and take more risks if the founder is still running the company. Now, the way that the video game market works is these companies, they don't have that much innovation internally. They buy these little studios. So my gut when it comes to NFT gaming is that Activision is probably going to make a couple of sizable acquisitions to enter the market. Okay, cool. And it's interesting that Axie Infinity actually is based in Vietnam, right?
Yes, I believe it is, yeah.
It's amazing.
And then a lot of people in the Philippines play it.
Very cool. I love it. Okay, before I go to questions from the audience, you're always way ahead of the curve, buddy, when it comes to new technologies. And the reason I actually vlogged recently about Discord and other cool technologies is I found out about them from you. So my question is, what do you think are other incredible technologies that we should embrace from a productivity perspective or from an investment perspective? Thank you.
Oh, that's awesome. It's a good question. So NFTs, obviously, but there's also going to be probably another evolution of NFTs or tokens. So think of a stock in a company, but a stock in a person. So if I believe in Chris Haroun a lot, right? I believe that your studio is going to be the best, and it's going to put a lot of MBA degrees out of business.
Right.
I can actually invest into it.
Or you can short Chris Haroun and make money. Sorry, go on. Sorry.
No, I would not short Chris Haroun. But when it comes to, you can invest a token that kind of goes with your popularity and your value. So they're called social tokens or social NFTs or anything like that. So the more that you grow, the more that asset wants to be used, right?
Yeah.
There's also a thing called governance or some type of IDO where there's going to be a Kickstarter.
Right.
There's going to be a lot of Kickstarters where you actually get money for starting a company like Game Report or anything like that.
Right.
And you get money funds, and then you have access using that NFT or utility to a software that helps you do research.
Amazing.
So this space is amazing. Peel back that layer of JPEG, guys. I'm telling you right now, it's amazing what you can get access to with NFTs.
Right.
And it's really awesome. And then any other thing like Discord's huge, right? Compared to Slack, open.
Yeah.
And also, I do want to mention Bitcoin because there's an app called Strike. And Strike is going to be putting a lot of things out of business for the fact that a lot of the issues right now with retail arbitrage is that they're taking a 3% fee, right, by Visa.
Yeah.
And that's because they have quadropoly is what you call it on it.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to that 3% transaction fee, it's causing a lot of like retail or arbitrage to be eaten up by like Amazon or Target or any of these companies.
Yeah.
Strike is changing that. Strike is a peer-to-peer money type of thing, and you can put it down in the description below for yourself, Chris. But it's also El Salvador is using Strike and Bitcoin, and it's just using it as a monetary network. So there's like this Bitcoin type of thing as an asset, like that coin, that's really useful.
Yeah.
But there's also the Bitcoin network.
Right.
And the Bitcoin network is what's being used to send money overseas at a fraction of a penny.
Right.
And that's crazy to think, Western Union or anything like that are sending money through like El Salvador for like 25 or $100.
Yeah.
But a lot of people that are working in the United States are having to send money to El Salvador, and they can't afford that Western Union or type of wire fee.
Right.
So the Strike app changes all of that. It uses the Bitcoin network. It takes $100 of US, sends it over, zips it over on the Lightning Network for Bitcoin, and then sends it over to El Salvador for fractions of a penny.
Right.
And so for me, Western Union, all of these companies that are taking these transaction fees, there's just this wave that's coming.
Yeah.
It's going to be happening slowly, but then all of a sudden, and it's just going to be like, what do you mean, what's Strike? And you're going to hear it here first. So hit that like and subscribe button for Chris.
Okay, no, for Payton only, please. Yeah. And by the way, you can see Payton's name there. Please copy and paste his name into YouTube, follow him, and LinkedIn, etc. One more quick question before I go to the audience. There's tons of questions here, but I got to ask you, how do I make an NFT? Like explain it from scratch, assuming I know nothing about technology, but I like to draw, for example.
Yeah. So it's actually really easy, and that's where there's a lot of scams, right? And I'll talk a little bit about the scams. I think we kind of glossed over that a little bit. But when it comes to NFTs, you can go onto OpenSea and you can upload like a picture, right? I can take a picture.
OpenSea.com?
OpenSea.io.
OpenSEED?
OPNSEA.
SEA.io. Okay, gotcha. All right, for now.
And so, like, for example, like I could take a picture of, like, I don't know, I could take a picture of anything, upload it as an NFT, and people can buy it. And that's kind of like, that's how easy it is. It's like literally uploading a YouTube video. But then like no one's going to want to buy that because there's no utility next to it, right?
Yeah.
There's no community aspect to it. Yeah. So people are going to get smart with NFTs. Yeah. They're going to know that I don't want to own an NFT. I want to own an asset. That's how that's going to happen.
Right.
That deed, I don't want to own like some shack. I want to own like a house. And then I want to own a house in Beverly Hills and I want to rent it out. So that's kind of like where we're going. We're kind of building out this metaverse as we go.
So NFTs are going to be like custodial services. Okay, got it. Very cool. Very cool. All right, great.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Sorry, right, real quick, Chris. There are scams though. So when it comes to OpenSea and Solana, I just want to mention two things because I want to make sure that like your audience understands you don't get scammed.
Thank you.
So there's a scam right now going around in the Ethereum blockchain in OpenSea. Is that if you get an airdrop, so everyone has a public address.
Yeah.
If you get airdropped a NFT in your public address and you click on that NFT and then you accept it, a smart contract gets initiated and then dumps your wallet and then sends it over to a anonymous user.
How can they do that if they don't have your private key though?
They have your public key.
Yeah.
And the public key, you can send a NFT, a non-fungible token, but with it, remember, NFTs are a utility. They're not just a JPEG. So that NFT is embedded with a smart contract. It's a code that when it's executed, kind of like plugging it, a perfect example is plugging in a USB into your computer and there's a Trojan horse. Yeah. That's what it is. There's like a Trojan horse within that NFT that just says like, I want to transact, automatically transact and send it over to like my wallet. Okay. The other is Solana on the Phantom wallet. To compete with bots, they did an auto transact. And so this auto transact like automatically transacts for a specific transaction.
Right.
And the transaction can be anything. So if a website has like some sketchy website or anything like that, can have the Phantom wallet integration and automatically transact, and it can put something in you real quick, accept it, and then send it all over to another wallet. So you have to be very careful. Like I told you, this is a very dangerous world. I'm here, and that's the reason why I'm creating the game report. And under game report, there will be an education section. I'm still building it up, but it's taking ties from Binge Learn. But the beginner is out right now. So there's a 1 through 8 lessons, and that 8th lesson right there is kind of wallet security and how not to get scammed.
Okay, so you go to your website, gamereport.io, scroll down education, you can learn more about how to not get scammed. Okay, great.
And education will always be free on that website.
That's awesome. Thanks for putting me out of business. Okay. I'm just kidding. All right, I totally get it. All right. Let's see if we have any questions from the audience. Now Payton's got an appointment. A realtor's coming to your house here in San Diego, I think at 9. So let me go through the questions here. Thank you, everybody, for your patience with me today. And Payton, I'm so sorry about the technical issues. My fault entirely.
I'm having fun.
Okay, great.
Can I say something real quick?
Please do. Yeah. I'll look for questions as you do.
The people that are here for like Chris and the MBA program, I'm telling you right now, I signed up. And he knows nothing. He just let me do this, and he knows nothing about this. But I signed up for his MBA program, and I was actually late. I actually messaged him, and he let me in. Yeah. This man will go leaps and bounds over any teacher that you have.
Thank you.
All right. He sits down one-on-ones with you and asks you about business. He asks you about your life. There's like literally been sometimes counseling sessions for me, and this is for me, right? A man that was like very lost on like what he was doing on anything. I had like maybe 5 subscribers. I think Chris was my 6th. Like, it's when it comes to, he believes in you, and that makes you like aspire to be something more. And when you watch his classes, you become a part of like an MBA family too, all right? And you have access to that network. Everybody, one of those people in Slack in that MBA program has direct access to NFTs. And this information that I already talked about had been talked about for weeks on the Slack, and also on Chris Haroun's like weekly calls, as well as his just for his gold and platinum members.
Cool.
So if you're on the fence for that, DM me. Like you don't even have to make the decision right now. DM me, and I'll talk to you, and I can answer your questions.
Thank you. I appreciate that. We accept Solana through scams, NFTs through scams. Something like smart contracts for scams. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. God bless you. I appreciate that. You didn't have to do that. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. All right, cool. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go here to questions. A lot of people are saying, Payton, rock star. We love you and all that great stuff. Blockchain gaming is fantastic. Thank you, Payton, for your hard work and leadership. Very, very cool. I Am Hustle said, great explanation of NFTs. Awesome. All right, let me search here for questions. And thank you all for telling me that the video is stuttering so quickly. We fixed that. I fixed that. My issue. The older I get, the better I was. All right, give me 1 second as I go past all the comments about.
And also, his dad jokes are on par.
Yeah, a lot of dad humor. Yeah. All right. Okay, I see a lot of questions about business stuff. Okay. Okay, here we go. All right, question from Famukafai, who wrote, "How does one know if an NFT will appreciate in value going into the future?"
A lot of it won't. And so I think even Gary does a really good job at explaining this. A lot of these NFTs will not. So you need to make sure that like first of all, that you like it. I think that's a very important part of like the NFTs. Like you want to be able to hold this for a long time, but there's a lot of traits that you can do. So like CryptoPunks, it's like kind of considered as like the first NFT, and like Visa just bought ones for like, I think millions of dollars. Bored Ape Yacht Club is another one.
Sorry, who did Visa buy? Sorry.
CryptoPunk. It's a CryptoPunk.
What does that mean?
It's an NFT. An NFT is a CryptoPunk. Okay. And they bought it for like, I think 23 million or something like that.
Visa, the credit card company, bought a single NFT for...
The credit card company, yeah.
So Visa, ticker V, bought one NFT for $23 million.
Yes.
Why would they do that? That's
flex.
Dude, that's just like Goldman Sachs buying, I don't know, a Monet painting.
Yeah. I think it's just to show them that they want to get into the NFT space too, right? Yeah. So again, if you peel back the layer of the JPEG, you get access to communities, you get access to information, you get access to social status, you get access to royalties. Like for me right now, and today is the launch date for it, I hold these things called Citus NFT Heroes. And if I hold this card, along with some cryptocurrency, I get passive income every single month as I hold it. Right. And that's a utility version of it, and that's how it's evolving.
Huh.
And so you have to look at those. You have to look at the utility behind it, the team members behind it. Are they same thing like you would value a stock, which you learn everything in Chris's like section, or you can like go into YouTube as find it too. But like the when it comes to valuing a company, you need to make sure that the people are not anonymous, right? Because they can just rug pull and take away all your money like right away. And make sure that like you're good to go when it comes to utility. Like, are they going to be implementing it in a game later? Are they implementing it into the sandbox? And then check out their community. The community is like probably a very big thing, right? Like you could be very rich right now if you looked at the Tesla community at its core and see how much like rapid fans they are, kind of like Peloton or Apple. You know what I mean? Like you can degrade somebody that has an Android if you have an Apple phone, and that's just kind of like the cult like following that they have. And so like make sure that like you go into those and kind of see those traits in terms of utility for the NFT as well as the community
and supply too, right? Like there has to be like,
yes, absolutely. Sorry, I should say like that. A lot of these NFTs are supply at like 10,000. So the heroes that I have are capped at 6,000. So there's only 6,000 ever to be in existence, and that's non-fungible. So you have a unique card to be able to do that.
So this here is a replica, not real, of a T206 Honus Wagner card. There's only 30 of these in the world. One just sold for $6.6 million. So the same thing goes with NFTs. There has to be a dearth or a limit of supply. Gotcha. Okay, great.
Yeah, and I think Steph Curry also bought a Bored Ape, which is another type of like NFT for millions of dollars.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. Awesome. All right. So TT Crypto wrote, gaming NFTs are awesome. Time is valuable and games take up your time. With NFT gaming and ownership, your time is finally rewarded. And then you put in all caps, huge. I love that. That's a quote, actually. That's fantastic. Thank you. TT Crypto, great to see you on the call. Never seen you before. Would love to have you join us again. Great comment. Thank you. Thank you. All right, question from Jasper, who's also in our program, your classmate.
Yeah, what's up, Jasper?
Yeah, he's awesome. So he said, hey Payton, how much do you think the total addressable market for NFT gaming could become?
Yeah, great question. 800,000 people play NFT crypto games right now. There is 2.9 billion gamers worldwide, about to be 3 billion.
Amazing.
That total addressable market, you're going from gamers to gamers. You're not going from, a person that you're trying to groom and all that kind of stuff and get them into it. There is no gamer on the planet that wouldn't want to own their own items on the blockchain. Like there's no one. It's just the barrier to entry is very confusing for a lot of people. So right now, whatever the total addressable market for gaming is, which is 2.9 with a compound annual growth rate of 5%, 3% as it tails into 2024. You have all access to that, and gamers are a little bit more tech savvy than the average. Then also, when it comes into like video games and investing into kind of going back to TT Crypto, when it comes to looking at games, 51% of that market share for gamers are on the phone. So look at the reason why I invested into D-Race, the reason why I invested into Citus NFT Heroes, the reason why I invested into the Sandbox, and the reason why I'm going to be investing into CryoWar is because they're going to be on mobile platforms. Because 51% with a compound annual growth rate of 5% every single year for mobile games. You know what's on a decline? The consoles. PS5, Xbox have been on a decline of 1.1%. Year over year, and that'll be better as the chip shortages. So I don't think of that. And like 2021 has been kind of a weird lull after the COVID experience. I also don't agree that there is the PC console games though are going on a decline of like a negative 3.2% by Newzoo. I think that will change. I think that will change because there's a lot, like Chris mentioned earlier in the call. These people are watching their heroes right now, like Ninja. They're watching Shroud. They're watching Dr. Disrespect. All of that, what do they play on? PCs, right? So there's a huge also this kind of Gen Zers, once they get money, once millennials start to get more money, because we only own like 11% of the wealth in the United States, there is. And there's major catalysts for this too. There's Starlink that's coming and connecting all of the world for internet. Guess what? Everyone's going to have a mobile platform. Everyone's going to have crypto. So a total addressable market can really reach like almost the whole world's population when it comes to gaming. And I don't like throwing that out because that's like, moon talk and all that kind of stuff. But a very conservative billion in terms of total addressable market. When you get there, it's based on mass adoption.
That's amazing, dude. Nice, nice. I love it. I love it, man. You're a wealth of knowledge. Great. And I know you got to go in a couple minutes, so a couple more quick questions here. Okay. Next question I've got here is from Srikanth, who wrote, so all that fake coins one can earn in normal games will become real coins with NFT gaming, question mark.
Absolutely.
That's correct, yeah?
V-Bucks, Robux, Grand Theft Auto, Cash, all of that. And also, okay, so I haven't really talked about the tokens of it, the tokenomics. There has to be a capped supply.
Yeah.
So I'm giving free what's it called, advertisement to D-Race, but D-Race is a game, an NFT game that's coming out soon.
Right.
And they have a 200,000, 200 million coins. I think 20 million, 200 coin. 20, I think 20 million coins. That's a fixed supply, never ever to create it, minted ever again.
Yeah.
So the more demand comes in, the more that coin rises, right?
Right.
And
Very
so
cool.
that's something that's really big.
I love it. Well, we got plenty more questions, but I'm going to stop right there. I know you have a real estate agent coming to your house there in San Diego. So, Payton, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for joining us today.
Thank you.
I recommend anyone interested in checking out NFT gaming to follow Payton, and you can get his name there, Payton Kaleiwahea, under his face, or just type that into YouTube. So check out his website as well, called GameReport.io. Follow him on YouTube and on LinkedIn. I think he's a giant in the making, and I'm so honored that you've been with us. Thank you again, Payton. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Love you, Chris.
Thank you. Love you more, brother. Take care, man. I'll see you. Thanks.
See you. Bye.
Very cool. That was fun, man. All right. Great. All right. Well, it is now time for questions. You all know how it works. You just type your questions there in YouTube. I answer the questions in the order in which I receive them. If I miss a question, it might be because you typed in a link, an internet link, which gets blocked, or I'm just an old man, paste it again. All right, let me go through these questions here. So the rest of this call is just going to be Q&A. Thank you. All right, and let me just put my shoes on here because I do stand all day. I got the cheapest Yeezys. The cheapest ones. Let me put these on. Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry. All right. Let me just fix this pedal down here. Hold on. Sorry. All right. Okay, great. Let's do this, folks. Let's do this. All right. So I'm going to kick it off with Owen. Owen wrote, what VCs would be interested in funding a startup carbon sequestration company? On the same token, what tips do you have for appealing to investors, such as venture capital firms, and what are some presentation essentials? Yeah. So I would say anything related to carbon credits or anything related to environmental type investments. What you want to do is you want to find venture capital firms that have backed or invested in anything environmentally based in the past, like First Solar, ticker FSLR. Find out who the first investors were in First Solar, for example. But be careful, because a lot of people in venture capital, myself included with my fund, we all got burned back in 08, 09, and in 2010 as well, when it came to clean tech investing. And the reason venture capitalists got burned by investing in environmentally friendly companies is because the reason that the solar market existed for so many years was only because, and I do have solar on my roof, it only existed because there's massive subsidies from governments all over the world. And then by 2008, when we were within 24 hours of bank machines not working, what happened was countries that highly subsidized solar, they stopped those subsidies. So Spain stopped all subsidies for a while. Germany decreased the subsidies. Most countries did. So be very, very careful when it comes to anything carbon related or environmentally friendly. Make sure that it's a real market and it doesn't just exist because of government subsidies. Yeah. Because when there's too much government support, from a Darwinism capitalistic perspective, companies don't do that well. It's why a lot of it's interesting. There's a book written by Michael Porter, who made up the 5 forces model. He teaches at Harvard, and the book is called "Can Japan Compete?" And what Michael Porter did was he analyzed the Japanese economy after World War II, and of course the economy was in shambles. And what happened was after World War II, the Japanese government, in an effort to prop up production and grow commerce and revitalize the economy, the Japanese government gave subsidies to every sector in the economy except for two sectors. One of them was consumer electronics, and the other one was autos. And there's a lot of great Japanese companies globally in many markets, but specifically those two areas, consumer electronics and autos. And so the bottom line is, I'm never a big fan of investing in companies that receive too much government support. Yeah. Okay. Now, in terms of tips for appealing to investors like venture capitalists, in general, whenever you're raising money, if it's an early stage company, just understand that the venture capitalists, they spend much more time thinking about you than your company, because the jockey's always more important than the horse. And when you're presenting, they want to see somebody that excites them, somebody that makes them want to invest in your product, which may not exist yet. And they understand, a lot of investors, high net worth investors like the guys and women on Shark Tank and venture capitalists, they understand that your business model and the market you're in is going to change materially over the next couple of years, because you might be one of the first people in the market from a first mover advantage. And they want to understand that they can still get excited about what you're trying to sell in the future. Last thing I'll say on this is, when you're pitching to raise money, the people at the other side of the table are thinking to themselves, if I'm a customer and this person is a salesperson, am I getting excited about their products or not? Because great founders and great CEOs are salespeople. That's what they are. So I would practice pitching a lot. And I actually, in the third semester of my MBA program, which you can check out right here, there's a venture capital boot camp, which is based on my experience investing in venture capital, having invested in 500 startup-based companies, etc. Yeah, I'm here to help. All right, next up, Hermela wrote, hey, Chris, good morning. Good morning to you too. On a scale of 1 to 10, how important is the ability to write and speak effectively for someone to work in the finance industry? Yeah, I'd say it's important. And one of the biggest misconceptions of the finance industry is people think you have to be great with math. The most important thing in finance is actually sales and communication, because most jobs in financial services are sales jobs. At Goldman Sachs, for example, most employees are salespeople. And the best way to get promoted to department head or CEO is to be great in sales and communication, of course. And I teach all the basics of communications from a writing, a presentation, a perspective, etc. In my MBA degree program. Please check it out. Go to this link here. There's a 30-day, 100% money-back guarantee. And thank you as always. All right. Next up, Abel wrote, hey, Chris, hope all is well. Likewise. I have two questions for you today. What would you say is the most significant problem people face in the finance industry? And what is your advice to overcome those problems? Yeah. So a couple of things. I would say that in general, people are a little bit too short-term focused. You know, as Warren Buffett said, the longer the view, the wiser the intention. And these are not normalized markets that we're living through right now from a volatility perspective. You know, you usually can't make money by day trading. It doesn't work like that, because every month has 20 trading days. There's 20 weekdays every month. There's 20 trading days. And if you think you can make money in the near term by trading, you know, think again, it's really tough, because the reason stocks move up and down in a short period of time is for geopolitical reasons. It might be saber rattling between DC and Beijing, or it might be oil constraints and announcements from Moscow and Riyadh, for example, or Venezuela. You can't control these things. Or it could be COVID related. And so you got to be very, very long-term focused. And so I think that one of the biggest misconceptions is that, you know, you can make a fortune when you're investing. And I have this baseball bat because in my upcoming complete options course, I teach about how the best casinos make a lot of money by betting by small bets, like singles and doubles, right? And this is a one-arm bandit, and I'm using this to teach Monte Carlo simulation in my options course. And we have to think like casinos, that's right, when we invest in options, for example, because they make a fortune by doing small bets, right? You'll notice in casinos you can't make a big bet, because if you make a big bet and you win, the casino can go belly up. So it's very, very small positions. Don't try to hit a home run. Try to go for singles and doubles. Yeah. And when it comes to investing in general, aside from options, just be very, very long-term focused. Yeah. Yeah. Rome wasn't built in a day. Okay. All right. Next up, Abel wrote, what would you say is your greatest strength that could benefit your career as a financial analyst? Yeah. I would say that from a generic perspective, the greatest strength for anybody would be the ability to network. And I know I talk about this a lot. I won't go down that rabbit hole right now, I promise you. But people get jobs in finance, not because they get great grades, right, in the long run. People get jobs in finance because they network. The people that do best, I find, of my students when I used to teach in business schools during the evenings, the ones that do best never have the highest grades. The ones that do best are the ones that are well balanced. They like to go out and party and have fun too. Because business is about relationships first and product knowledge second. Always bond before business. Yeah. So I would say that that's really, really important. That's a big strength. Also, another big strength when it comes to being a superb investor and financial analyst is understanding formulas instead of memorizing them. A lot of people will just memorize that, assets equals liabilities plus equity in accounting, but they don't understand it. And I got a D in accounting the first time I took it at McGill University in 1991. I thought my life was over. But what happened was I was memorizing that stuff. And I took it again. I tried to understand it. And I did a little bit better than a D. Not that much, to be honest, because it was kind of boring. But the same thing with finance. You have to understand valuation and ratios and whatnot. For example, the price earnings multiple. With every fraction that you look at for the rest of your life, I want you to do this. I promise you this will help you. I want you to make the denominator the number 1. Okay? Always think of it that way. And the numerator is multiples of 1. For example, if a company's price to earnings multiple is 10, that means earnings on the denominator is 1. And for every $1 in earnings, investors are paying 10 times that $1. And if the company is growing faster, maybe for every $1 earning, investors are paying 50 times or $50 per share, for example. Think of it that way. It works out really, really well. The same thing when it comes to profit margins, right? So net income divided by revenue. Denominator is revenue, 1. For every $1 you make in revenue, how many pennies are you keeping? So if your profit margin is 30%, for every $1 in revenue, you're keeping 30 pennies. It helps a lot. And so the bottom line there is always try to understand financial statements and equations and don't memorize them. Otherwise, you'll end up a loser like me and get a D in accounting. Yeah, it's so much more fun this way too, to understand instead of memorize. And I love to use a ton of props, as you know. For my options course, I'm going overboard for a change, and my kids love me because they're gonna get these toys after we're done. But understand it. That's why I love using props, and that's why whenever you guys present, what I want you to do is I want you to use props. And what you can do is you can buy old props over eBay. Sorry, you can buy old props over eBay, and then use them in your presentation, and then return them, sell them back on eBay. It costs you like a 5% fee, all net, right? So for example, I bought this for not that much actually. This is a bond from World War II, right? And this was actually used in 1944. This was issued by the U.S. government to fund World War II, and I use this to explain how interest rates change. And I know with all of you, myself included, you think about when you were younger and you were in class in school and there was show and tell day. You remember what your buddies brought, right? You remember the props. You don't remember what the teacher said, but you remember the props. We're much more visual than we think. And so when you give a presentation or teach online or make a YouTube video, whatever it is, always try to be creative in the way you teach and articulate your thoughts by using props. It works incredibly well, I promise you. And it's so much more fun as well. Yeah. All right. I feel so bad for Payton on this morning, and I messed up the first couple of minutes. Sorry about that, guys. And thank you so much for sticking with me. Yeah, thank you. Love you, Payton. Thanks, brother. All right. All right. Next up, Senyam wrote, "Hello, Chris. I love your consistency." Thank you. I'm consistently bad. You wrote, I love your consistency to develop expertise on real estate. What should be 3 websites to follow? Additionally, do you suggest any real estate courses or books giving insight on the market? Thank you. Yeah, I don't think there's really any one repository I'd ever recommend when it comes to real estate. It's tough. It's tough. It's kind of like finding a good accountant. There's no website for that. You kind of have to just talk to friends and whatnot. Yeah. But whenever I bought houses in the past or sold houses, I always find real estate agents that actually grew up and lived in that neighborhood because they thoroughly understand it and it's more personal as well. Yeah. And I do have a real estate course coming out next year. I'm doing an options course this year. It comes out before Black Friday. Yeah. But the 3 most important things in real estate are always location, location, location. And my grandfather, God bless you, I miss you, buddy. He used to say to me when I was a kid, he'd say, "Chrissy, buy land. They're not making it anymore." Yeah. It's all about supply with every commodity, stock, NFT, piece of land, etc. Yeah. Demian, how are you, buddy? Good to see you. Demian Valenzuela is one of my amazing students. He lives in Spain, actually, with his wife and their daughter. So Demian, I hope you're well. Likewise. My question is, if we use the value versus price analysis to cryptocurrencies, assets minus commodities minus collectibles, can we consider a crypto somewhere in between or a pure company? Yeah, I'd say that the best way to think about this, we can narrow it down to one thing, which is supply. Right. The reason that that real estate is worth something, or commodities are worth something, or NFTs are worth something, or cryptos are worth something, or stocks are worth something, is because of supply. Right? If we flood the market with too much supply, the price goes down. And in my Pro MBA program, I teach everybody how every sector, when you invest, has one driver. One thing that makes the stock go up or down. The rest is noise. So with retail companies, the one driver we look at, we put in our financial models I teach you, is same-store sales. When it comes to hotels, it's RevPAR, revenue per available room. When it comes to cell phone companies, it's ARPU, average revenue per unit. That's my son Dylan at graduation there. He actually put a mask on there. Yeah. So I got to show you. Sorry. So this is him at graduation, sign of the times. And he actually they made him put a mask on. So he took a picture. Yeah. It's like a son, man. I love him. All right. All right, next question. Demian wrote, can we consider currently we're not investing in cryptocurrencies, just trading them? And then you wrote, big hug and best wishes to your family. Thanks, brother. And much more to you. Make sure to buy that Fernando Valenzuela 1981 Dodgers sweatshirt I told you about, because your last name is Valenzuela, for yourself and your kids. It's awesome. Yeah. So I would say with crypto, just be careful. I mean, they're really volatile, and people do make money with options with them as well. And the way to make money with options in general, and I will teach about crypto options in my upcoming course. The way to make money is you write options. Be careful though, okay? And you go for singles and doubles, and certainly not home runs. So that's how you can make money shorter term. Kind of taking advantage of volatility in the market. Longer term, I think the best thing to do is just buy and hold your favorite cryptos. And I've publicly disclosed this in the past. The 4 cryptos I own and I'm never selling are as follows: Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ripple, and Ether, ETH. That's Ether, which is on the Ethereum platform. Yeah. And I'm starting to get into NFT baseball cards now as well. Yeah. All right, and NFT art a little bit. Yeah. All right. Next question. Demian said, how can cryptos be valued with the mindset of long-term focus? Yeah. So the way I would think about it, it's really hard with cryptos, man. Because it's hard to value them based on an earnings basis. And so the way I've done it, and I teach this in my MBA degree program and my cryptocurrency course, is I have 49 steps. And the valuation step is the hardest one to do. And the best way to think about it is you take the total addressable market of all fiat or paper-based currencies globally, and then you have to decide, what percent of the total addressable market longer term will be cryptocurrencies? And then what percent of that will be the crypto you're doing research on, right? There's much more than that. There's 48 more steps, 49 total, that I teach you about analyzing cryptocurrencies. And the way I came up with that actually was I was really pissed off that a lot of my students were getting scammed on cryptos. And so there's got to be some sort of loose regulation, not too much. But when you go public, you do an IPO. The investment bankers, I know I use that one way too much, but investment bankers create this. It's a prospectus. And this here is the S1 prospectus for Facebook, right? And so what I did was I looked through this and the thousands of prospectuses, or hundreds I should say, I've read in my life, and I came up with a list of 49 things from this that lawyers and investment bankers look at to tell you about all the risks. And I added that to my methodology in my complete cryptocurrency course, in my more updated version of it, which I just released in my MBA program and on Udemy as well. All right. And then Demian said, I hope I can meet you someday, and thank you for everything. You're an inspiration for hard work. Thank you. I appreciate that. God bless you, brother. So what I am doing is I'm doing an in-person annual graduation event here in the Bay Area. And it's also going to be an annual alumni event. This year I'm limiting it to 100 people. But starting next year, it's going to be much, much bigger. And I will be doing it overseas as well, as I do a road show eventually, speaking of IPOs, when I meet with students. And Barcelona is at the top of my list. Thank you. All right, next up we got Gurpreet, who wrote, hey, Chris, I'm good and I hope you're great too. I'm always great. Thank you for asking. In your mind, what should be the proportion of your net worth one should invest in real estate? Yeah. I would say as much as you can, and because there's a tax deduction you can get. So I would say almost all of it, right? Like 90% when you're younger, if you can afford a house. Like I couldn't afford a house or an apartment until my 30s, right? I lived in New York City. And like many people in New York, I wasted a lot of money over many years on partying and rent, right? But the earlier you can buy a place, the better. Right? You borrow money from your family if you can to put down that down payment. And so if you start saving to buy a house or an apartment, and you buy an apartment in your 20s and don't wait till your 30s like I did, then your net worth will literally be $10 million more than mine by the time you're 80. And I can run through the math if you want to. I've done it with many of my students in my MBA program as well. And that's called the time value of money. Another reason why you want to buy real estate, your own house, as soon as you can, is because you get tax deductions in many countries for buying your own place. And in many countries, when you sell your first place, if you make a lot of money on it, you don't pay taxes or capital gains when you sell it for a big profit, if it's your primary house up to a certain dollar value. So check it out if you can, please. Buy your own house as fast as you can, or apartment. Again, I had to wait to my 30s. If you're much older, 50s, 60s, and you haven't done so, it's not too late, because I believe that there are people on this call that will make it to 150. Okay. All right. All right. Next question is Rose. Thank you so much, Rose. Rose was the head of the yearbook last year for my MBA class. She graduated last year from the Platinum program, and she also told me this morning about the issue. So God bless you for that. Thank you on the webcast, which I fixed. I love Payton. He's the best. All right. So Rose wrote, hey, Chris, when should I register my company as an LLC before I start selling, or after significant revenue starts being generated? Yeah. So what I would say is this. Now, for those of you not familiar with an LLC, it means limited liability corporation, which means that if you register, your liabilities are limited, right? So God forbid something bad happens at your work that's not criminal. People might sue you, and they can come after you and take your house and your car, your assets, and everything. And so when you start a company, and once you start generating a little bit of money, I highly recommend registering it as a business. Now, I'm not a lawyer, so I'll never give legal advice. But what I recommend is you go to LegalZoom.com and you talk to a lawyer that works on business formations and register your company. It's the cheapest way to do it, LegalZoom.com. I'm not sponsored by anybody, as you know, which has hurt my YouTube growth, but I don't give a damn. You're my customer. And if you live in a different country, just do a search on what is the, put your country name in, what is the equivalent of LegalZoom in my country. And you'll find plenty of them out there, I promise you. Yeah. So I would start actually registering your company once you start generating a little bit of money. And of course, after you write your business plan. Because failing to plan is planning to fail. And most people don't write a business plan. Last thing I'll say on this is that when you write a business plan, and I teach you all this stuff in my courses or MBA program as well. When you start a business, okay, or when you write a business plan, I should say, please don't just focus on the qualitative stuff. I want you to jump as fast as you can to the financial model, which I teach you about, and really go through the financial model step by step and understand if this is a viable business opportunity or not. Don't just go with your gut and think about the qualitative stuff. Quantify it always first. And a lot of my students that have done this have decided to pivot or start a different company instead. Yeah. All right, next question is from Rose, which is, can you explain SPACs? So what I want to show you is, instead of me doing it, you can always go to my let me find website here, okay? And at the top, harounventures.com, just do a search on anything. So do a search on SPAC or any business topic. I've talked about it, and you can watch this video right now, and I'll tell you why I think IPOs are way better than SPACs and much, much lower risk. I prefer IPOs, not SPACs. Watch this video if you want more detail. Yeah, thank you. All right, let me get back on track here. Where am I at? Here we go. Good. All right. Next question I've got here is, I Am Hustle wrote, Payton's a rock star, I agree. And then Christina, who's one of my amazing MBA students, as is her husband, Christian. They're great. Christian works for PlayStation. He used to work at EA. Good dude. Christina wrote, good morning, Chris, and our amazing webcast family. Hope you're having an outstanding week so far. Cheers, Chris. I'm at 9 a.m. and only 250 steps. How about you? And I compete with my students in a good way when it comes to water and steps. And you wrote that a while ago. I'm at 9 a.m. as well, so I'm on track. This gives me a lot more energy. In terms of my steps, I am at, hold on a second, not that much today. Only 400 steps, yeah. I will get my 20K in by the end of the day, yeah. Yeah, I got rid of my chair in this office earlier this year because, rightly so, a couple of my students complained about me on YouTube. They said, Chris, you sound tired. And so, one data point doesn't make a trend, but a couple does. So I got rid of my chair. And I only stand, and I get my 20,000 steps here a day. Yeah. All right. And then Christina wrote, Payton, have a great webcast. Thank you so much for joining. Congrats on your business. Thank you. Payton's a rock star, dude. Yeah. 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 Another comment here from Jibez SMS wrote, thank you, Payton, for your hard work. Awesome. Awesome. And then I'm Hustle wrote, great explanation of NFTs. Very cool. Payton's great. I learn a lot from him, and my students inspire me so much. Yeah. And I know Payton is going to be a massive success, much more than he already is. And if my students aren't successful, then I failed. And I'm not going to fail. All right. Manas wrote, good morning, my dear mentor. Good morning, Manas. Manas lives in India. Hope all is well. Likewise. One good news. I submitted my course as I promised last week, but it's still not up. It will be up by next 48 hours, maybe next week. I'll invite you. Thank you. Great job. And Manas has published a number of courses on Udemy. That's awesome. And what he's doing right now, what Manas is doing and what he's done on this webcast is something I recommend, which is you come up with a goal, you vocalize it, and you set a deadline date. And by making it public what your goal is, it puts pressure on you, and I say with love my heart, to get it done. Yeah. And most people give up on their New Year's resolution by the third week of January because they actually don't write a deadline date. Yeah. All right. Next up, Tado. Good morning. How are you? Good to see you. Okay. TT Crypto said perfectly explained by Payton, of course. Thank you. Cool. All right. And let me fast forward to, this is where everyone was talking about the streaming issue. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you, Christina and Demian and Rose and everybody for that. Thank you. All right. Next up, I've got Abel, who's saying, I have two questions for you today. What would you say is the most significant problem people face in the financial analyst industry? And what is your advice to overcome those problems? Okay. I think you pasted that twice. I answered it earlier. Thank you. Good morning, Tao. How are you? Okay. All right. Okay. Next question is from Alex. Alex wrote, "Hi, Chris. I recently left my job with another one lined up. How would I address the interview question of why did you leave your current company in a way that is short and to the point?" Yeah. So I would always bring it down to passion. You could say something complimentary about the company you worked at and then pivot by saying you're more passionate about working at the new company given the new role. For example, as much as I loved working with my team and we did great stuff together at my previous company, I did well humbly, but I'm much more passionate about industry X, which is why I joined this new company. Yeah. Okay. All right. And Rawlings, how are you, man? Rawlings is from Nigeria, and he recently connected with Kemi Tade, one of my platinum students. Rawlings is a silver student, great dude. So Rawlings wrote, "It's another beautiful day to meet here at HEV. Like the mentor said, we should ask. I did ask for something at work early this morning, and I got it. Have a great day, fam. Awesome. I love it. Nicely done." So it's so interesting because it's frustrating getting a raise or a promotion when you're doing a great job and you don't get it. And what happens is this: when we're younger and we're in school, if we keep our heads down and we get good grades, our parents are proud of us, our teachers are happy, we are happy as well. And then what happens is you start working and you keep your head down and you do a great job. And you look around and you realize, my goodness, other people are getting promoted faster than I am, and other people are getting raises faster than I am. The reason is because behind closed doors, they ask many times for a raise or a promotion. Ask and you'll receive. It's prophetic. It's been true since the beginning of time. You have to ask. And there's tasteful ways to ask for a promotion or a raise. The best way to do it is when your boss congratulates you or high fives you on a great accomplishment and they're in a great mood. Then you say, "Thank you. Do you have time for a quick coffee or tea?" And during that meeting with them, you say something complimentary, if true, about the company and the team. You could say, "We reached a big milestone. A lot of great members in our team. We did it together. It was great. I love being a part of this team." That being said, it's, as you know, I have a family, and it's really expensive, if true. It's really expensive to have a family here in the Bay Area, and I really want to provide for my family. And I'd love to ask you, please, humbly, what do I need to accomplish in order to get a promotion or a raise? And they'll answer it. They'll tell you what you need to do. And if you bring a notebook and write all that stuff down. And then the next time, 3 or 6 months later, when they give you another high five and congratulate you, then you meet with them again. And usually when they congratulate you, they're in a great mood. You meet with them and you say the whole stuff about the team and it's great to be here, yada yada. And then you say during our last meeting, you mentioned I need to accomplish these things in order to get a promotion or a raise. Well, I'm very humbled to say that we as a team have accomplished a lot, and I've actually accomplished all those goals and much more. And so I'd love to please ask for a raise or a promotion so that I can provide the best standard of living for my family and buy the new PS5. No, just kidding. Don't mention a thing about the family. PS5, I mean, yeah. All right. All right. I'm scrolling, seeing a lot of questions for Payton that we already answered. Manas wrote, "Two geniuses at work." The geniuses are Payton and all my students. Thank you. Okay. All right. And then Raquel said, "Crystal clear, a transparent explanation." Payton, the GameReport.io website, very interesting. Yeah. Very cool. Josh said, Solans ran 400,000 DPS a couple weeks ago. Absolutely insane. Yeah. And so Solana, what Payton explained and taught me this morning is that Solana, it's kind of like Ethereum. the platform, but it's much faster. And video gamers love Solana because it's all about speed, right? All about speed of transactions, access, refresh rates on the screen, etc. I know because I got 3 boys that play a lot of video games. And you said 400,000 TPS a couple weeks ago. Yeah. Where's my TPS report? What movie is that from? That's a skill testing question. Okay. And don't Google it. Where's my TPS report? Somebody tell me. And where's my stapler? All right. And then Christina wrote, thank you, Payton and Chris, so much for the webcast. Congratulations on your business, thegamereport.io for Payton. Thank you. Thank you. You're the best. All right. Yeah, and then Srikant said, is it Strike that Payton mentioned? It is. Yeah, that's exactly what he said. Yeah, it's one of the nascent technologies or new techs to look out for because it's gonna matter a lot, and he's ahead of the curve always. Payton, he's great. Yeah. Next up, I got Kurt. How are you, Kurt? Kurt wrote, what is the best resource to do a deep dive into NFTs for educational purposes? Thanks for the great content. Yeah, thank you. And I wish Payton was still with us. My favorite explanation of NFTs is Gary Vaynerchuk. So just do a search on Gary V NFT, that rhymed, in YouTube, and you'll learn a lot more about it. Yeah, he's great at explaining stuff as well. Okay. And then Famukafi wrote, I heard music artists are using NFTs to sell their music also. Yeah, no, it's fascinating. Yeah. And people are selling short videos. Like, you remember years ago, there was that viral video, Freddie bit me or bit my finger. Charlie bit my finger from England, those 2 little kids. That was just sold recently as an NFT video for about $500,000. Yeah. And then Osakwe said, can one trade cryptos in a country where it is banned? Yeah. I'd be careful about that because from a regulatory perspective, I wouldn't want anybody to get in trouble. That being said, what a lot of people do is they use VPNs, right? And so China has kind of banned it, cryptocurrency mining for Bitcoin at least. But most of the world's pool-based crypto mining still occurs in China. Yeah, it's not 81%, which it was a year ago, but a lot of it still happens there using a VPN. Yeah, and I use a VPN whenever I go overseas on my iPad, so I can watch the Blue Jay game, and the Blue Jays are playing the Yankees again tonight, and we better win or we're not going to make the playoffs. It's going to kill me. Yeah. All right. And then Christoph said, you can send tips through Twitter to each other now via Strike and Lightning and Bitcoin. Very cool. I didn't realize that. Yeah. All right. And I learned so much from my questions and my students. Yeah. And Nestor wrote, crypto viruses are coming. How do you solve it? Perhaps Kaspersky, etc. Will go cryptos as well. Yeah. I'd be really careful with Kaspersky. So for those who are not familiar with Kaspersky, it's a Russian antivirus product, and do a search on a Wall Street Journal article on it from 2018, and there's a lot of viruses in that software. So just be really, really careful with that. Yeah, yeah. And I'm not a huge fan of antivirus software. Just like I used Norton for a while, but it's so damn painful because there's so many pop-ups from Norton, and I'm like, dude, I installed Norton so I wouldn't get these pop-ups. You're annoying me more. And so what I do is I have a firewall. I also never install any executable or application or anything onto my browser, like extensions, etc. And I use a Mac as well, which is pretty rock solid. Yeah, famous last words. Yeah. All right. So yeah, it's tough to solve crypto viruses. So the way that Payton explained it is an NFT. I think embedded with an NFT, he was explaining. Can be your private key. I don't fully understand how, but I know that when it comes to cryptocurrencies, if you just give out your public key, it's cool because that's how people send money to you, but you never give out your private key. And so the analogy I like to use is a public key is like your email address. If somebody has it, so what? Your private key is like your email password. And you never give away your email password or your private key. But Payton mentioned that with NFTs now, there are scams where somebody can get access somehow to your private key. Maybe it's along the lines of when you purchase the NFT and you download it on your computer, instead of just downloading as a JPEG, for example, it's in executable.exe on Windows or .dmg on Mac. And when you open it up, what happens is your computer is search for your private key and your keystrokes, etc. when you enter in your private key when you go to Coinbase or wherever your wallet is. Yeah. Okay. Okay. And then Cody asked a question about NFT verification using Twitter, and I'm so sorry I can't answer that question. But Payton, if you're watching the replay, if you want to answer that in the Q&A, that'd be great. Thanks. And Payton's jammed, so he'll come back and do that later. Thanks. Yeah, he's got an appointment. Srikant wrote, "Thank you, great stuff. Payton was great. He's amazing." Yeah. And then Christina said, Professor Chris, totally agree with Payton on how you are the best of the best. No, thank you. God bless you. You wrote, best decision I made was to sign up for your MBA degree program. Thank you. I'm so humbled and grateful to have you with us as well. Thank you. You're a leader this year. You're amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. I love all my students. Okay. Next question is, a bunch of people are asking about Citus. It was for Payton. I don't know what that is, sorry. But Payton, hopefully he can answer that and get back to all of us. Yeah. And Raquel, who's one of my MBA students from Barcelona as well, she wrote, Chris and Payton, great words. Or Payton, great words about Chris and his MBA. Oh, thank you. I totally agree. Chris is, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. God bless you for that. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Cody, how are you, man? Good to see you. Next up, Hanem wrote, tell us about the utilities of one of your favorite NFT games. That's for Payton. Let me have Payton come on again to answer a lot of these questions another week as well. Thank you. Right. Thank you, Tao, for that comment. Yeah. All right. And then I'm getting a warning here that Zoom just ended. That's cool, because we're not using it anymore. Okay. All right. Cody wrote, hey, Chris, God bless you. Twitter announced yesterday that they are working on NFT verification for your profile avatar and a collection tab. You guys should really check it out. It's pretty big. I will check that out. Thank you. And I'll ask my resident hero and scholar, Payton, about that as well. Thank you. Next up, I got Octamagus, and I've never seen you before on this webcast. Welcome, and I hope you join us again. So Octamagus said, hey, Chris, I took your course. I'm doing it now from India. Lots of love from India. Thank you. Much more love back to you as well. I love India. And I will be doing an annual alumni event for my MBA students in India at some point. 11% of my students are from India. That's my second biggest market now after the United States, which is 29%. Yeah. And the US keeps getting smaller. Yeah. Okay. And then Hanem wrote, Payton is taking Citus Heroes. So much potential, and it's still early. Yeah, it's cool. Okay. All right. And give me 1 second, guys. Okay, thanks. Okay. Okay. So what's the crypto gaming companies Payton said he's investing in? I don't remember them exactly. We're gonna have to ask him to type them in. Or what you can do is this: you can go to Game Report. Let's go there together very quickly. Go to GameReport.io right here. Okay, and then you can look through he's got free courses and everything. He's not trying to make money; he just wants to help, which is cool. So you can go here, and I'm sure somewhere in here you can ask a question as well. Yeah, and you want to follow Payton as well on YouTube. He's got a great channel, and he answers questions very quickly there as well. Yeah. All right. All right. And then Payton wrote here, so much fun. Thank you for having me. Awesome. Thanks to have you, brother. I appreciate it. Thank you. God bless you. Yeah, yeah. Say hi to Hannah for me and enjoy those two wonderful kids you have. Yeah. And good luck with the real estate meeting at 9 a.m. today. Yeah. Okay. Next question is from somebody called I Don't Like to Sleep. I love it. Are you planning to give free courses? Yeah. I mean, ask and you'll receive. I wasn't planning on it today, but if you want to get a free course, probably the course I'm most proud of, I'll give it away for free. So you just go to my website, okay, HarounVentures.com. And then once you're here, don't click to buy because I can give you something for free. You do / lowercase, I think it's still up, complete job. Did we take it down? I don't think so. Here it is here. Okay, great. Awesome. Groovy. Cool beans. You can go here and get your free course. Yeah. And this one here, hi, I'm Chris Haroun. This one here, I have over 100,000 people have bought it in many countries, whatever. And this one I actually had for many years, a 100% money back guarantee. That's how confident I was it was going to get you the job of your dreams. And I only had one person ask for money back. Yeah, after the 30 day. All right. Next up, Christina wrote, thank you both. Thank you for being here, Christina. Follow Payton's YouTube channel, which is called The Game Report by Payton Kaleiwahea, and the Game Report website, which is gamereport.io. Yeah. Thank you for that. Yeah. Very cool. Oh, Paul, I haven't seen you in a while. How are you, man? Paul is from Montreal. Paul wrote, hello, Chris. Hope all is well, likewise. I saw the movie The Wizard of Lies with Robert De Niro playing Madoff. That's what De Niro looks like. Question, has the SEC and the IRS tightened the rules of hedge funds ever since the Madoff scandal? Yeah. So the SEC, for those who are not familiar, it's a Securities and Exchange Commission. It was formed in the United States to stop insider trading post the Black Monday crash in the Depression in the 1930s. The IRS, of course, is the Internal Revenue Service. It's the tax agency of the United States. Have they gotten more strict? Yeah. So I would say, yeah, from an auditing perspective, the IRS certainly has. From an SEC perspective, hell yeah. So what happened was in late 2008, there was this guy named Bernard Madoff, and he scammed tons of people out of millions of dollars by lying about his performance of his hedge fund. And by lying about his performance, he was able to raise a lot of money, kind of like what Elizabeth Holmes did with Theranos, and it became self-fulfilling until he made it. And then in 2008, people asked for their money back decades after they put money into it, and he wasn't able to return the money because it was a Ponzi scheme. And in hindsight, we should have known because his name is Bernard Madoff, like he made off. I'm sorry. And I have used that one before too. But what happened was that this created a domino effect where people asked for their money back from tons of hedge funds. And the bigger hedge funds, what they did, they were down 60%. And you all know the names of them. What they did was they put up the gates so that nobody could redeem, right? And so when you sign a contract to invest in most hedge funds, the big ones, they can put up gates and stop you from redeeming for a year or two if they have financial issues. Right. And so anyway, those that didn't have gates, mine, for example, I had a lot of redemptions. And it killed me, man, because in 2008, I had an amazing year relative to other hedge funds. And at the end of the year, from my offshore fund, which I had in the British Virgin Islands, ABN AMRO, which is one of my bigger investors, they had $6 million in my offshore fund. They're based in Europe. ABN AMRO redeemed. And I talked to them. I was like, dude, why? I outperformed every major hedge fund, or a lot of them at least. And they said, well, it's because of Madoff. Because a lot of their investors were able to get money back from a lot of hedge funds and not Madoff. But a lot of hedge funds put up gates, and I didn't have gates. Yeah. So anyway, it sucks. Yeah. But since 2008, the government, under the Obama administration, what they did was they went after a lot of hedge funds. And the district attorney in charge of this at the time was my hero. It's a guy named Preet Bharara. And so he basically went after 75 hedge funds, and he won 73 of the cases. Yeah. And if you guys watch the television show Billions, Paul Giamatti, who's the district attorney in that show, he's kind of based on Preet Bharara, at least the good side of Preet Bharara. The bad side of the district attorney on the TV show Billions, played by Paul Giamatti, is based on Elliot Spitzer, who was a senator from New York and district attorney, and he did a lot of bad stuff. You can Google him if you want to. Yeah. All right. Moving on to. All right. And Alex said, and this is with respect to the question you asked earlier. You have a follow-up, and so you basically asked, I'm leaving my company now because I don't like it, and I don't have a new job. And I'm worried that when I interview for a new job, what do I tell them? And what I would say is this, if true. Okay, let's say that you work right now in the operations department of a big company, but you're much more passionate about programming. And what you can say is this. As much as I enjoyed working in operations, and as a team we accomplish a lot together, I'm much more passionate about programming. And so in the past 2 months since I left my previous job, I've taken 7 online courses to learn Python, whatever language, JavaScript, other languages, yada yada, whatever. And I'm humbly very productive, and I accomplished a lot to the extent that I know that if you give me this job opportunity to be a programmer, and I don't mind starting at the bottom, I know that I can over deliver. Yeah, it's just something I'm much more passionate about relative to operations. Yeah. And I hated my damn boss. Yeah. Just kidding. Don't say that. All right. Next question is, can you tell me how the arts performance theater works? Yeah. I'm not an expert in that area, but I want to tell you who to go to. It's one of my incredible students who just moved back from Shanghai to Florida. Her name is Dion Vernon. And by the way, if you want to create an amazing LinkedIn profile, I want you to check out Dr. Dion's profile right here. Okay. This is the best profile ever, right? It's inspiring. Yeah, she's incredible. So she's actually a sports therapist, and she also worked on 10 Broadway productions, including The Lion King, Hamilton, Cats, Chicago, etc. Her team that she helped in China, the ping pong team, actually, the Chinese ping pong team, they won the gold medal, partially because of she's been great with helping out from a physical perspective. So check out her profile if you want to see what a great profile looks like. Here it is right here. And then what you can do is just reach out to her and ask her, and she'll answer. She's great. She'll tell you all about the theater market because she knows much more about that than I do. Yeah. I'm not a big fan of theaters and plays and stuff, although I kind of enjoyed Les Miserables when I was a kid. Yeah. And my son Andrew, oh my God, I tell you a quick little story here. All right. So my son Andrew, when he was about this age here, okay, maybe a little bit younger, maybe he was 4. What happened was Christina, my wife, took him and a bunch of his friends to go see a play. And on the way back from the play in the car, Andrew said this. He said, "Mom, number 1, thank you for taking me to see the play. Number 2, thank you for buying me cotton candy. And 3, please don't ever take me to a play again." Yeah. He gets that from me. Yeah. All right. So sorry, Dr. Dion. I do respect what you do a lot, though. I love you. And Dr. Dion actually cured my shoulder. She's starting up a rehab business online as well. And I've never met her in person, but she fixed my shoulder. Yeah, it was great. She gave me a bunch of exercises to do. Yeah. Okay. All right, next up I got a Jabber who wrote, "Hey, Chris, I sent you an email and you asked me to ask here." Yeah, thank you. If anybody has questions, just ask me here. It's always easier. Thank you. And then you wrote, "But since I sent the message to someone on LinkedIn and it mentions others, I'd rather just share it with you for your critique, please." Yeah, just ask me the question here, please. And if you don't want to mention certain people's names, then just keep it generic. And when I answer questions, I try to make it generic to appeal to everybody from a bigger total addressable market perspective anyway. Yeah, ask me here always. Thanks. Okay. Unless you're a platinum or gold student, we can ask offline. Yeah. Okay, Kumaresan wrote, "Hey, sir, Chris, please. If you have time after COVID ends, please come to our Thanjavur district in Tamil Nadu. There's unbelievable temple here called Brihadiswarar temple built by the great Raja Cholan. Thank you. I'd love to come. And I will. I promise you. Yeah, and I always follow up my word. I will. Thank you. And thank you for asking me. Except if we go out to dinner when I'm there visiting you, when the bill comes, I'm going to go like this. I have alligator hands. I can't reach my wallet. You know, T-Rex can't do push-ups, because I'm just kidding. No, it's on me, of course. Yeah, thank you. God bless you. Okay. All right. Next up, Tanzil wrote, if I had to choose between fate and hard work, which one? Yeah, definitely hard work. Yeah. And the harder you work, the luckier you get. And I always prefer to hire somebody that's poor, smart, and hungry, that'll work their ass off, rather than hiring somebody that was born with a silver spoon in their mouth that got into Harvard or Stanford because their mom and dad went there. Hard work always. That's why there's so many successful people that don't have an education, that started in the mailroom and now they work in the corner office. They're the CEO. Examples include David Geffen, who founded Geffen Records, and one of the co-founders of DreamWorks with Steven Spielberg. Another example, somebody started in the mailroom, was the former editor-in-chief of Cosmopolitan magazine, the former president of ESPN, Barry Diller, who owns Interactive Corp, Sidney Weinberg, who was CEO of Goldman Sachs for a couple decades. The list goes on and on and on. I always love to hire people that are poor, smart, and hungry, and will work hard, and they get along with everybody as well. When it comes to relying on fate, I don't know, it's kind of tricky for me. But what I always tell myself whenever there's a crisis with me in business or my career, I always ask myself this. I say, what's positive about this? Well, what's positive is my competition is probably freaking out. And, when you freak out and you're emotional in business, you do the wrong thing at the wrong time. Like Warren Buffett said, the New York Stock Exchange is the only store in the world where consumers sell stuff when it goes on sale. So don't worry, man. Hakuna Matata. Things will work out for you. And this is going to sound a little bit out there, but I remember years ago, I was kind of at a low point. And I called my dad up in Canada. I was like, Dad, I don't get it. I'm not getting treated right at work. I made the firm a lot of money. I mentor people. I help people. I'm just not getting compensated. I've asked, and I just don't know what's happening. And I thought at the time that, my boss is insecure. I'll never name this person. It is a guy, but I'll never name him. Although it's killing me. I want to right now. I'm thinking of his name, but I won't say it. And I guess he felt like he hired his assassin. And what my dad told me was, he said, Chris, I want you to read the book of Job, which is in the Old Testament, which is, it's the basis for laws in many countries and many great religions. But the book of Job was basically about this dude who he couldn't catch a break, and he kept losing things in his life. Things weren't working for him, and he questioned his faith. And then many years later, he became very successful, and that path he went down in his life all made sense, and he was grateful, which helped him to retain his faith. And so the bottom line is here, with me, I don't get stressed out when it comes to anything career related, because God already knows what's going to happen. And that should put you at ease. So when it comes to fate or worrying about the future, just focus on what you can control. And I promise you, if you work extraordinarily hard and you think with your heart first, and you're not afraid to fail over and over and over again, then you'll make it big. Because in business, you only have to be right one time. And every successful athlete or movie star or business icon, they failed more times than you and I have combined. And this is why I love this. I've failed over and over again in my life, and that's why I succeed. I love that. Love that. All right, I'm getting a little bit shiny here. Got that song Shiny Happy People from REM in my head, so I'm going to put on some of this. By the way, let me explain how this works. So a lot of guys have never put on makeup and stuff, but what happens is when you're in a television studio and there's a lot of bright lights, there's somebody that puts this on you. It's called Stay Matte. Okay. Maybe she's beautiful. Maybe it's Maybelline. Sorry. It's called Stay Matte. And what you do is you get this stuff. It's almost colorless. And then it gets rid of the shine. You'll see. I'm very shiny and happy. This way. Yeah. My nose is massive, eh? So I go through like 8 million of these every day because my nose is huge. Aerodynamic, though. Like, I'll kick your ass in skiing because this is aerodynamic. Yeah. All right. All right, moving on. My wife bought me this brush from Sephora. Yeah. All right. Next up, Henry. Hey, Hank, how are you? Henry wrote, hi, Chris. 9 minutes past midnight here in the Philippines. Thank you so much for being with us. One of my favorite students, I love them all the same, got to be careful here, is named Dr. Mark Vincent Besa. He's based in the Philippines. And during my MBA program, he learned about how to create social media content. He did such a great job that the World Health Organization saw one of his posts and offered him a job based in Somalia, which he turned down. But you don't have to get a lot of people to look at your post to get noticed and actually change your career. Yeah. So anyway, Dr. Mark is great. Look him up. Send him a message over LinkedIn. He will respond, and yeah, you'll love him. Yeah. All right. Thank you for joining us though after midnight. Though I appreciate that. Thank you. Okay. Next up, Hashem wrote, "Hey Chris, I have an awesome application idea, but I don't know how to bring it to life. I'm not a technical person, so should I freelance the work or find a co-founder? Also, do you have any tips for starting?" Yeah, that's a great question. So you have to look at your limitations if there are any and your gaps. And I'll give you the best example when it comes to coding. So Steve Jobs realized early on that he's not the best techie. He was, God bless him, he was more of a salesperson, great salesperson, and a great marketing person and a great visionary, but not a techie. And so he had to fill that gap. And so he found Steve Wozniak, right? And so from a yin-yang perspective, that kind of completed him. And he was able to raise capital and start Apple. And so there's no shame in finding your Woz as well, your Wozniak. And if you want, you can get a prototype done of your app called a wireframe prototype for a very cheap price, right? It'll just be kind of schematics like a blueprint. And you can copy and paste that, put it into your business plan and presentation slides. You can go to Fiverr.com. It's Fiverr.com, a great company based in Tel Aviv. I've actually been by their headquarters before. They're amazing. And you can get them to create a wireframe outline of it. More importantly, though, you need to find a co-founder. And the best way to do that, given COVID, it's tough to network in person. I get it. What you can do is you go to meetup.com. And it doesn't matter where you are in the world. You can do this to get customers or whatever you want. So in terms of going to meetup.com, it works in every country. So let's say you're based in Riyadh. What you can do is, and you want to find somebody that knows how to code Python. So you type in Python, Riyadh. There we go. Yeah. And then you do that's Saudi Arabia, of course. Do a search here, and you'll find events. Okay. So this here, it's only got two attendees so far, but actually it's kind of old. But look at ones. No, that's not old. That's in the future. That's right. That's October. Okay. So this one here is it's free to attend these things. Okay. This one here, you just click on it, and you can go to it. There's 6 people going to be there, people that probably understand Python thoroughly. And what you can do is you can network with them, get to know them, ask them questions, talk about your business model, and see if you can partner with them, so to speak. That's a great way to find a co-founder. Yeah, meetup.com. It works everywhere. Okay. And that will assuage any investor fears that you don't have enough tech experience, right, by having a co-founder. Yeah. All right. Next question I've got is from Fred. Hey, Fred, how are you, man? Fred wrote, how are you, Chris? I'm always great. Thank you. I hope you're doing well. Happy to see you once again. Likewise, brother. All right, next up, I've got Haroun, whose name rhymes with Haroun, my last name. And then you said, Haroun, I've listened to you many times when you talk about networking extensively with people. Yeah. What is your advice for deaf people or people like me who have one ear deafness? Yeah. So you can get real-time closed captions, right? You can find, or close to real-time. That might help out a lot. What I do actually, because I'm starting to have eye problems, like my grandfather had, is I make the font size 8 million. It's really, really big here. Yeah. And God bless Apple and Microsoft too for making a lot of great accessibility features, right? So what I do with my eyes as well, you can't tell, is for the screen here, I make it a different color so I can read it better. And the way to do that is you go to System Preferences and then go to Accessibility Features on a Mac, or on Windows, you go to your Control Panel, and then you'll find Accessibility Features there as well. And I have a couple of students that have issues as well when it comes to hearing, and I've helped them increase the size of the fonts and whatnot so they can read real time really quickly. Yeah, and hopefully that's helpful. That's helpful. Yeah, hopefully that's helpful. Yeah, but let me show you actually. So what you're about to see is what the screen usually looks like for me. Okay, hold on a second. So I go into Accessibility Features here. There we go. Okay, so it's a little bit the screen. It's gotten brighter. There's a bright light behind it. I don't know if you can see that. I'm going to turn it off. Let me see if I can turn it off. Hold on. Please be off. Wow, you can't even see it. Yeah. But basically, I think you can't see because I'm well lit. But I have a bright light behind there that changes a bit so I can see better. Wow, the camera's not even picking it up. Okay, great cameras. But there's a lot of accessibility features you can use within Windows and Mac. Yeah, and if anybody else can opine and do a better job answering that and share with the rest of us, that would really be helpful. And thank you. Yeah. Okay. And then Haroun said, it's painful to say I didn't get that or what, and it's discouraging to try to talk to strangers. I try not to be depressed, but it's dragging me down. I'm so sorry you're going through that, and I will keep you in my prayers. It'll get better. I would just God made you perfect and beautiful as you are, and I wouldn't get depressed. Just be yourself, because as Dr. Seuss said, everyone else is taken, and people will love you for being yourself. So if you have to ask people a couple of times to repeat it, so what? Let it be that way. Who cares? Don't give a damn what other people think, and don't be depressed either, please, at all. Yeah. Send me an email, okay, to support@harounventures.com, and I'm going to do a lot of research for you to see if I can help you in any way, including giving you all my courses and programs for free forever. But just send me a message, because we'll set up a Zoom call together and we'll figure this out. I want to do a lot more research to humbly help them. Thank you. And God bless you, brother. And I love your name because it rhymes with Haroun. All right. Next up, Kumaresan wrote, hey, sir, Chris, please, or Haroun. If you have time after COVID ends, oh, you repeated the question twice. Yeah, I read that. Thank you. Okay. Cyrus wrote, hey, Chris, nice to see you again. Likewise. I'm officially your MBA student now. Thank you. I appreciate it. This is my second MBA. I got my first MBA in Shanghai this July. Excellent. Excellent. Congratulations. Maybe you went to the Halt International School of Business, where I used to teach, which has a branch there in Shanghai. Thank you. And we actually have a lot of people from top business schools that have MBAs that have signed up for my program, and humbly, they say that they've learned more in 1 month in my program than they learned in their entire MBA. Plus, with my program, there's a 30-day, 100% money-back guarantee. Yeah. And the cost of my program is essentially what it costs you 1 hour to go to a traditional program in terms of all expenses. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. And then Cyrus wrote, Chris, you're great. No, thank you. Appreciate that. I'm also willing to take your course on crypto, real estate, YouTube, etc. Thank you. Don't buy any more courses, because it's the stuff I teach for that, at least, is in the MBA program. Thank you. And the real estate course is going to come out next year. I will add it to the MBA curriculum. For anybody that's already bought the MBA program, you get everything I create for free forever. And for those of you that are going through the program right now, in the 4th semester in class number 89 in the finance and accounting track, in the 4th semester in class 89, I'm adding my option stuff very soon. Darius, thank you so much for the donation. Thank you very much. And that will go. You don't have to do that, but I love you, brother. Thank you. That will go directly to Project Magoo, which is something I've been funding out of my pocket. And so we're building our first the first building. We'll get it done by early next year. Okay. And actually I met with Vital, one of my amazing students, in Rwanda, and I brought my son as well. He's been helping out a lot. That's him. That's me. Where's Vital? Vital's over here. And this here is on the land that we bought. We actually had to buy it from 7 different families because we couldn't get a big enough plot of land. And what Vital is doing is great. What he's doing is he's actually helping the 7 families to manage their money properly based on the stuff that we learned together in my courses. Because he's worried that these families are going to spend all that money on a car or something like that, but he wants to help them save it. And so the computer science building will be up, early next year, guaranteed. Okay, it's taking us a little bit longer than expected because of COVID. That helmet I'm wearing there, I have it right here as well. He inspires me a lot, man. He's great. And then we're going to do Kenya next year. Okay, with Marin, another one of my amazing students in my program. And then we'll do Nigeria the year after with Kemi Tade, another one of my amazing students in my program. And this is named after Leah's mother, or pardon me, Marin's mother, who's watching down from heaven and is so proud of her, as well as here, this is Kemi's mother as well. Yeah. And there is Vital, and then here's Andrew. And then here are some of the kids. They were so cute, man. They're adorable. Yeah, we had a blast. Yeah. And what Andrew did, my son, is he actually he did a Snapchat video and had them crying, laughing. Right? They were laughing their asses off. It was the best ever. And I got to show you that real quick here. Okay, let's do this. Screw it, let's do it, as Richard Branson would say. Let me go here. And I got to show you that whoa, my voice is annoying. Let me go to my website here, and I want to show you just really quickly the Snapchat video that my son Andrew did, which had people laughing really, really hard. I don't know where the hell to find it. Give me 1 second. I'm going to go to my website, okay, Haroun, and at the top of my website, you can always do a search for anything. So let's go to Rwanda, and all the videos are added here using process automation software. Here it is. Yeah. Okay, good. So I'm here in beautiful Magoo, Rwanda, with Vital. Vital and I met at a Udemy conference in 2019 in Berlin, and we promised we'd build at least one school here. And so this is the land. We had to actually buy it from 7 different families. A lot of government officials involved as well. Given COVID, it's taking a little bit more time, but we're going to build it right here.
Yes.
And there's 5 buildings, yeah?
Yes.
A computer science lab.
Computer lab, welding workshop,
right.
Carpentry workshop.
That's my son.
Carpentry workshop and mechanics. So for the vocational training, it's gonna be like a vocational training school with a computer learning center and 2 halls where people will meet just to catch up and relax and
and everything, it's environmentally friendly too. We've got 40 solar panels going on the roof to power 50 Raspberry Pi computers, and we chose Raspberry Pi because it takes a lot less electricity as well.
Yeah.
So completely self-sustainable. Everything's to be customized by Rwandans here as well.
Yeah.
From a maintenance perspective.
Yes.
So we're excited, and without Udemy, this wouldn't be possible. And so we're grateful.
We are so grateful.
Here's laughing.
And, even to meet Chris was through Udemy. So we are so grateful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hey, get the kids here.
Yeah.
It's my son Andrew here.
Oh.
Yeah. This is great.
Great
Man.
guy. Yannick.
Put a funny photo filter on
So-
the face.
Oh, they loved it,
Oh,
eh?
man.
That is adorable. Oh, I love. So fun, man. So fun. Yeah. So anyway, that was. Thank you for the donation. That will go right to Magoo as well. Yeah. And the land cost us, I think it was about 10 grand or so, which I personally funded, and a big percentage of my profits in my courses, my MBA programs, etc., is going to go to building schools all over the world. My goal is to have a school built in every single country by the time I die, when I'm like 180 years old or something. Yeah. And I hope I die broke. Yeah. And it's all going to be satellite based as well, using Starlink eventually. Yeah. I don't know how, but I'll figure it out. Yeah. And by me mentioning it to all you here, I got to make it happen. Right. Yeah. Even though I missed my deadline date because of COVID. And what Mark Benioff said, the brilliant founder of Salesforce, he said, quite often we we overestimate what we can accomplish in a year, but we massively underestimate what we can accomplish in a decade. Yeah. So I've accomplished nothing. All right. Cyrus said, are my courses on Udemy, mean the crypto and YouTube course? Yeah, they are. Real estate, not yet. I'm still working on it. I think I misled people in saying that I'd have that one out this year as well. It's just been so busy, man. Yeah. But I have a bunch more courses on Udemy this year. I'm also releasing. I'm working with the largest South Korean education or ed tech company, and we're almost done taking 4 of my courses and making them completely Korean or subtitles, whatever. Yeah. It's going to be big though. Yeah. Humbly, I hope so. Yeah. All right. Give me 1 second, guys, please. All right. Momento, por favor. Here we go. Okay, great. All right. Next up, Charlton said, Chris, I took your crypto course earlier this year. Is it updated, or are you planning on creating another cryptocurrency course? Yeah, we updated it last month. So it is up to date now, including updated prices, links, all that stuff as well. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. In terms of making another cryptocurrency course, I don't think so. The way I work is, I'll keep it always up to date, especially in my MBA program, which has even a more updated version. But the way I work is I go all in to create something very comprehensive, and then I move on to something else. It's just what I'm doing. Like right now, what I'm doing is the options course. I'm all in on it, having a blast. It's going to break my heart by the time it's done because I thoroughly enjoy it. Let me actually show you a little bit of it right now, if you care. So what you see up top there, those are my notes for this presentation. I usually have my slides there as well for the weekly webcast. And for the next couple of weeks, I'm just going to do general Q&A. But I'll show you the course here. Let me actually go here to Excel Hell. Okay, and that was just what to do next for me. Okay, and I wrote to myself, it's awesome, because I was very frustrated last night with a certain part of it, but I'm trying to, you know what I'm getting at. Okay, but I'll show you. So the way it's going to work is it's going to be, there's going to be 3 sections to it, right? And this is just notes for me, whatever. There's going to be 3 sections to it. And what you can do is you can take the beginner track, the genius track, or the all track, meaning everything, okay? And the 3 sections are as follows. There's introduction options right here, okay? And I'm deleting a certain thing there. Introduction options, okay, I take it from scratch. And then there's pricing and analysis of options. And then in section 3, we've got this is option strategies. And I have 35 different option strategies. I teach you married put, and I use a lot of Lego stuff as well. This here is a backspread with calls. I'm an idiot. I don't know where to get a better image. Hi there. So I've got tons of them. And what we do is we price options from scratch. And for those of you that aren't familiar with what long and shorts means, I teach you all this stuff as well from scratch. Okay, longs and shorts. What does all that stuff mean before I teach options? And that's going to be like an optional lecture. And then here I go, the basics of options here. These are just notes for myself here at the top. I go through the basics of options. Now, the way options work is when you buy a stock, you get 1 share. But when you buy an option, it acts like 100 shares. And those are hockey pucks because I'm Canadian, you know. And so what we do here is we price options. And then what I do is I give you, I explain everything from scratch, okay? Everything. And the way it works, let me just hide this up here. I'm trying to get the size of this file below 10 megs. It's tough. Although when you use one image and you copy and paste it a million times, Excel thinks it's just one image. But I've got inputs and exports. So the way it works is to make an option, you put in a bunch of inputs, right? Stock price, caller put, strike price, volatility. And what comes out of that is the option price and a bunch of Greek variables. And you can click to jump to all of them directly, right? So that's down here on the tab. This is all live data as well. I've set it up, probability stuff. I teach you statistics from scratch in a fun way because the way I was taught it was really boring. You can click on anything to get a little video pop up. You can select any stock you want. You can type in a stock or select any stock. So let's do one live right now. It'll be fun. All right, so let's do a U.S. stock, and then let's do, I don't know, Apple, I guess, right? So we'll click here, and I've got every stock you can think of that has options. And so we click here on Apple, okay? And then what we do is we're going to price an option. And so we're going to download the data here really quickly together, okay? So, and ignore that blue thing there, blue box. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to download all the stock data for Apple as of right now. All right, great. So it's downloaded in a CSV file. We're going to copy it, and we're going to analyze the heck out of an option. So let me go back to Excel hell. Where was I? Over here. Here we go. Good. And now what we're going to do is we're going to paste in that data to calculate the price of an option for Apple. Okay. And so we're going to make it a long option. Yes, this will work for cryptos too. We're going to go down and right now the price of Apple, what's the current stock price of Apple? Let me get it and we'll do this in real time. The current price of Apple is 142.10. So let's enter that in here and let's price an option for Apple. So 142.10. And is it a call or a put? Let's do a call. Okay. So we'll set up a call. In terms of the strike price, let's make it 170. No, let's make it lower. We'll be in the money, right? So basically, if the stock is above 120 bucks, we make money. Okay. And remember, before I'll explain this in much more detail during the course. But when you buy an option, it acts like you have 100 shares of a stock. It's amazing leverage, right? And then option pricing, we'll make it today. And then the expiration date for the option, let's select it right here. Now, the way it works is options, they expire on different Fridays. So I have a bunch of Fridays here. So let's go to, I don't know, early next year. Let's go to January 21st, 2022. That's when this option will expire. We enter in the interest rate and the dividend yield on Apple, which is 0.62 as of today. And the more the stock goes down, the higher the yield gets, and vice versa. We'll make it American style, which I explain in my course. And then the volatility is calculated for us. So volatility basically means, when it comes to options, how much the stock moves up or down over a given period of time. So this here, I calculated, and let me actually paste in the correct formula. It's basically, it's taking the standard deviation square root of 252 data points. And it's 252 data points and not 365 because the market's open 252 days of the year. And so over the past year, Apple's stock has had 28% volatility, meaning the stock price goes up or down 28% in a year. And this year is just based on a bunch of calculations. Now, what I then do is I calculate the options price for you. I go through normal distribution explanation from scratch in a fun way, okay? And all this leads up to the price of the option I priced here. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to check to see if this is correct or not, okay? And before I do that, I want to show you how much math there is behind this. So on this one tab here, for example, there are 10,302 calculations in this binomial pricing tree I'm going to show you really quickly. It's right here. See here? And the reason we price it this way is the way you price options is you look at what happens if the price goes up a bit and down a bit, up a bit and down a bit, over and over and over again, rinse, lather, repeat. So let's zoom in here and I'll show you one of these formulas really quickly here in this massive thing that's taken me 8 million years to make, but it's been so much fun. And then I'll move on, I promise you. But let me just scroll in here. All right, so let's go to one of these branch moves. So it's kind of tough to see, I apologize. But if I didn't use name ranges, and there's no code in this, by the way, no macros. And yes, I will teach you how to create a spreadsheet like this as a bonus section at the end of the course. But I went through all this stuff to decide what the price is of the option. After those 10,302 calculations, then right here is the option's price, right there. Okay, so it's $23.48. Now, let's go and check the actual price to see how off we are. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the option price in Yahoo Finance. You don't have to buy any software packages or anything. We're just going to use Yahoo Finance as usual. It's fun, it's easy, it's free. And so I calculated the option price for the, and I'll explain all this in the course, the January 21st, 2022 120 call option, okay, at $23.48 to buy it right now. Now, I calculated that based on volatility of 28%. That's the historical volatility based on all of this information here. And I look at the volatility day to day over 252 days, okay? Logarithmic stuff, which I explain in easy and fun terms. So my volatility is 28%. But the market is using a different volatility called implied volatility. I'll wrap this up fast, I promise you. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to see what the market is pricing the January 21st, 2022 120 call option for Apple. So we'll click here. And what people don't realize is that there's options on Yahoo Finance. And I'll teach you all this stuff too and how to read this as well. So we're going to go to the January 21st, 2022 120 call. All right, so let's go there right now. 120 call. Here we are right here. Okay, great. Here we go. Great. All right, so this here is the bid-ask spread. So the market's open now. The bid and ask spread is 2440 to 2450. Okay, and this is important. On the side here, this is implied volatility of 33.42. Now, because my volatility, the historical volatility, which is more often right than implied, and I'll explain all this in the course, I promise you. My volatility is lower, so my price is going to be lower. So remember this number, 33.42. So if we go back over here, you see how my price is a bit low. It's 23.48. And the reason is because the historical volatility for Apple, I calculate it as 28%. But the market is implying the volatility is going to be higher in the future, which I'll talk about in the course. So if I go over here, and I'll teach all this from scratch too, I promise you in the course. If we take the implied volatility of 33.42 and we hard code it here, watch what happens. Then we're able to actually price the option here at 24.49. Okay, and that's pretty damn close to where it is right now. So right now the market's saying 24.40 to 24.50. All that stuff is 10,302 calculations in that massive tree that I showed you, and I'll explain exactly how that works, okay, in the program. And I have lots of charts as well that tell you on if you're making money or not. All this stuff is dynamic. It changes whether you select long, short, put, call, whatever. So if we change this now from a call to a put over here, you'll see that the chart will change as well. And so this is a 120 put for Apple, okay? So basically there it is there, it changed. So what that means is if the price of Apple is below 120, okay, between now and January 21st, 2022, we make money, right? So if it goes to 0, and I set it up here so you can enter in any number. So if it goes to 0, we're going to make $11,739. Why? Because that's what the option cost times 100, right? And I'll show that to you a little bit later. Now, what's the most we can lose? Well, the most we can lose is what the put cost us. So if the stock goes up a lot, the most we lose is this amount here. So let me enter in a stock price above Apple, 200. There we go. The most we can lose is $261, right? If Apple is above my strike price of 120 plus the cost of the option. So if Apple goes to $8,000 a share, it doesn't matter. I'm still going to actually lose the same amount, 261 bucks. But if it goes below 120 bucks, we're making money. And the more it goes down, the more money we make. And then it maxes out if we're at 0, which equals profit of $11,739 here. Okay. And we can even, if we wanted to, we could change this from a long to a short. Okay. And what happens is we get a mirror image. So I go down here to short, and then I go down here. I promise you I'll wrap this up in a second. I'm just having so much fun. I love teaching. It's fun. Let's go down here and we'll look at the chart now. Okay. So we're now short the exact same option. Okay. Which means a mirror image of what the option looks like, and we collect money from shorting it. Now, when you write a call or sell a call or short a call or put, you're collecting money. Okay, and I explain that in a lot of detail. This is a simplistic one option strategy. I have other spreadsheets that have 4 options going on at the same time, to the extent that what I do is I explain iron condors, iron butterflies, and all that crap from scratch. There's also a lot of option formulas here. Okay, so right here, this here is the theta, gamma, delta, all that stuff, which I explain in really, really easy terms. Okay, really easy terms. You click on these bricks, you get a video as well. And so the bottom line is that the course comes out this year, I promise you. There's a lot of hockey puck references. And when you buy a stock, it's offensive, right? You're trying to make a goal, right? Like in sports. When you buy a call, it's the same thing. It's offensive. But when you buy a put, it's actually defensive, right? And so these are just some of my props. Toronto Maple Leafs represent, of course, from Toronto. But I explain it in much more detail that way. And so last thing I'll say about this is I'm going to talk about how to analyze options using the binomial pricing methodology. And when I value stocks or options or anything, what I do is I love to value things using 3 different valuation parameters. So with stocks, I use price earnings, price to revenue, and sometimes DCF. And I do that because my target prices on those 3 aforementioned methodologies, one of them's going to be way, way off. And if I take an average of the target price of all 3 methodologies, it minimizes the margin of error. And so what I've done here is on this spreadsheet, I've done it for binomial, which I showed you, that big tree thing. We're also going to look at Black-Scholes, okay? And I exchanged emails with Myron Scholes here at Stanford not too long ago. And then we're also going to use Monte Carlo pricing, which is why I bought this silly little prop here, because I'm going to teach you how from an easy perspective, I'm going to teach you exactly how casinos make a fortune. And that's what option writers do as well. I've got a ton of, we're going to build on it one brick at a time. So what I just showed you seemed complicated, but it's not going to be, because we're going to build on it one little brick at a time. And then eventually what will happen is it all makes sense, and we understand the bigger picture. Hi, I'm 7.5. Yeah. So anyway, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. And then if we scroll over here, and I promise this is the last thing I'll say about it, we've got tons of different option strategies we'll talk about there's more than 35 option strategies in the spreadsheet that work perfectly. I hope, knock on wood. And so I've got 1 option strategies. I've got 2 option strategies, 3 option strategies. I've got iron condors. I got buying and selling an iron butterfly. I've got everything covered here, dude. This is the most comprehensive thing I've ever done. And then over here, I just have bonus section. I teach you how I made the spreadsheet with no code, how I made the images, just bonus stuff, and also how to use a virtual private network to be able to paper trade options if you're in a country where you're not allowed to get access to certain software. Yeah, just because I want to appeal to everybody. My market is the world, always. So anyway, I had a lot of fun with that. Hi, I'm a nerd. That'll come out soon. Woo! Okay. Next question, if anyone's still with us, is Stepan asked, what are your thoughts on the Evergrande crash in China? Do you think it'll cause a major market crash all over the world? In order to see the answer for that, this will take me 3 seconds. All you have to do is go to all you have to do is go to my website. I have multiple computers because I don't like to put non-production stuff live. Go to my website here and just do a search for Evergrande, which I think is owned by yeah. So I answered it here, and you can go to my vlogs as well. I just answered I answered a question about that. The vlog, I think it dropped yesterday. So go to my YouTube channel. Thanks. Okay. I don't think it's going to be a crash all over the world. I hope not. But go to my vlog for that. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. Nestor said, "Hi, Chris. Thanks for your answer. You're most welcome. I've enrolled in your MBA program. I'm excited to learn more. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for the support. I hope you enjoy it. Thanks. Or your money back." All right. Sarlik said, a little bit off topic. No, all good. I'm 18 and I have gray hair. Like how? Dude, you are me. Okay. I was the same way as you. And Rob Lowe, you know, the actor Rob Lowe, he actually went all gray in his 20s. And it happened to me too. It happened early. This is all hair dye right here. It's, yeah. And I started losing my hair as well, which is cool. If you look like Michael Jordan, it's cool. And I don't hide anything from anybody. But what I do actually to stop me losing hair, and it actually made my hair grow back, is I use laser this is technology, okay? So it's basically a red laser, okay, that I put on, and it shuts off when you take it off for safety reasons. But it's actually helped it to grow back. I'm fully transparent. Yeah, it's Wesawig. What you see is what you get. Yeah, but don't worry, dude. I mean, what I do is for years I use Just for Men. It's $7. It's like shampoo, and you do it monthly. and nobody knows. And when I worked at Goldman, I remember people thought I was one of the chill guys on the trading floor. And they'd always say, Chris Haroun, going gray, but that's okay. Yeah. All right. All right. Next up, Sarlik said, hey, Chris, what are your opinions on Web 3.0 and blockchain? Yeah, I just read Chris Dixon's piece. He's a brilliant venture capitalist at Andreessen Horowitz on Web 3.0. So what I recommend is, instead of taking advice from me, I want you to go to Twitter and follow Chris Dixon from Andreessen Horowitz, great venture capital firm, which I've partnered with them in the past, and read his report on Web 3.0 because he is the industry authority, not me. Yeah. My dad told me when I was younger, Chris, only take advice from successful people. So take advice from Chris Dixon, please. Okay. All right. Next up, I've got Amar loves tacos. How are you, man? Can you please make more videos on crypto and NFTs, or maybe upload more videos in your Udemy crypto course? Yeah, we actually upgraded it recently. The best thing to do if you want to know my latest thoughts on anything crypto or NFTs is just go to my website and do a search for NFTs or any crypto topic, right? So I've done a lot of stuff here on NFTs, mining, whatever, over the years. You can even type in cryptocurrency. And the great thing about this search engine here, I licensed from a company called 360 Search in Germany for $100 a month, it's not bad, is not only can you see all my videos here on cryptos, okay, but also in my MBA degree program, you can get access to exactly where I talked about cryptos or any topic, and you click and you jump there immediately if you purchased it. Yeah. And then here are a bunch of other downloads as well on cryptos and other stuff. Yeah. So this search engine is great. I love using process automation to work smarter and not harder when it comes to running my business. I have very few employees who I pay extraordinarily well. It's just the way I work. Yeah. Based on year-end bonus, a lot of it. Yeah. Because I cut my teeth on Wall Street. Okay. And Amar said, I'm an absolute fan of your style. After having taken your course, big respect. Thank you for that emoji. Right back at you, brother. Thank you. Thank you. Now, some people say, Chris, why don't you have more subscribers? Well, first of all, I suck. But secondly, I don't take any sponsorships ever. I get approached all the time. I'll never do it. Because the second I start taking sponsors from any company, okay, any company at all, then what happens is I don't put you first, you the customer, my student. For example, if you go to any video game ranking website, like IGN.com, you'll notice they don't say negative things about Microsoft's Halo products, which suck lately. Well, they don't because Microsoft advertised a lot there. So with me, there's no bias at all. You, the student or the customer, you always come first. And the second it comes down to me trying to make a fortune, whatever, and not putting love in my heart, my students first, is the second you should just turn me off and go watch somebody else. Yeah. Love you guys. All right. Next up, I kind of like going back to this. What do you guys think? Let me ask you guys a question here. Do you like it when I do just Q&A like this, or do you prefer that I start with the 7 topics? Let me know what you think. Thanks. All right. Yeah, and Sarlik wrote, hard work is greater than Harvard. I believe that. I believe that. Yeah. It always pisses me off, too, because a lot of people go to these great schools. Like, a lot of times it's because their parents are wealthy or they had an aunt or an uncle or a parent that went there. And don't get intimidated when you're around people from great schools or whatever it is. You know, maybe they're a little bit more confident because they were born with a silver spoon in their mouth, but they got nothing on you. 2/3 of HBS is BS. I believe it. HBS stands for Haroun Business School. Yeah. All right, next up I got Christoph, who's a fellow libertarian. How are you? Actually, I think I'm a libertarian. I grew up in the 80s in Canada, and I love Ronald Reagan because he took on big bad communism. And then I came to the United States, and I can vote, and I go between Republican and Democrat based on who the candidate is. I think I might be more of a libertarian, just like you. Good to see you. So Christoph said, I've related to the book of Job. Excellent. Most of my life. Since bad times, when I'm young and looking for answers, I connected to Job as well. I love it. And you know what the prophetic thing, thank you for the icon. God bless you, brother. The amazing thing about the book of Job is Job is its job. Like, it's so interesting. And I'm going to go a little off track here because I want to. And I love your name, Christoph. So Christopher, you might not know this, but here's the origin of your name. Okay. So in ancient times, thousands of years ago, right? Actually, 2020 years ago, 2018 years ago. Yeah. There was this dude, this job, and they were called tophers. And in order to go across a river or a stream, they didn't have the technology to build bridges then. And so what they did was there was this dude, this job called a topher. And you carried people across the river. That was your job. You're a topher. And one day, a topher, he carried this little kid across the river. And halfway through carrying this kid across the river, got to work on my posture here. Halfway after carrying this kid across the river, the kid started getting heavy. And the topher wanted to give up. He wanted to give up. He's like, God, please don't let me give up. Oh my God, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to persist. Oh, he's getting heavy. And he didn't give up. And he made it to the other side of the river. And he put down the kid. And that child was Jesus. And so they renamed the profession topher to Christ topher. It's kind of interesting. Yeah. All right. Next up, Christoph wrote, depression doesn't last forever. Trust me, I've been through it a few times. You and me both. You and me both. I'm fully transparent. I've been very depressed before. You know, I remember, so I lived in New York City, and I had clients that passed away on 9/11. One in particular named Naoka Kushitani. And Kushitani's son she was one of my clients when I did Japanese equities. But I saw the whole damn thing. It was awful. And I feel so bad for those that lost loved ones in 9/11. But if you don't grieve, if you don't let it out, then 6 months after an event, you break down. It's just a psychiatry thing. And so 6 months after 9/11, I remember I was out of town, not in New York City, I was in a Toronto hotel room, and I broke down and cried. And I was depressed. And I remember calling my brother. And my brother's a doctor. He's great. And he kind of calmed my nerves. And then I went to a psychiatrist. And then, that was just the one time. And you have to grieve. You have to. But depression it's and I have it. I do. Okay. And I've been open about that before. And my way of beating depression is, and we're all different. And I say all this because I love my students so much. And that's why I open up and talk about my vulnerabilities, my many failures and weaknesses in life. My way of dealing with depression is exercise. Right? So if you treat this well, this works much, much better. And that's why I exercise every day. Right? And I don't want to take any shortcuts with other kind of stuff. So what I do in this room is I take 20,000 steps every day, or I try to at least. And you don't see me most of the time, but I'm actually walking. Sorry about the squeakiness. I got WD-40 over here. And this allows me to get a ton of stuff done all day. Now, I'm going at 3.7 miles per hour, which is the fastest speed this cheap treadmill works at. But by doing this, I feel like I just woke up and I get a lot of stuff done, right? My productivity goes through the roof. Again, I don't have a chair in my office here, but that helps me deal with my depression. What also helps me with my depression is to eat healthy foods. I have kale in here and all that stuff. Drink a lot of water. And just exercise a lot. Because as Tony Robbins said, and I met him, he invested in one of my companies years ago. Great guy, by the way. Tony Robbins said, motion creates emotion. We all have time to exercise. And I try to do it while I work. I kill two birds with one stone, so to speak. And that helps me fight my depression. Yeah. Which I've had for many years. Yeah. But I'm happy. I'm glad I am that way. Okay. Next up, JR, John, said, hi, Chris. Greetings from Texas. Don't mess with Texas. New guy here. How are you, man? Good to see you. Give me 1 second. You have no idea how messy my floor is with props. But this is me talking to you. Don't mess with Texas. And please bring me your tax code and some of your political policies to the left coast. Thank you. So John said, hey, Chris, greetings from Texas. New guy here. Great to have you. Hope you join us again, JR. I'm looking forward to exploring your content and see how I can better contribute to society. I want to be like Hans Zimmer, who's one of my favorites. I love it. And dude, that's how I work. So what you also don't see behind the scenes, there's a method to my madness, is you set the soundtrack your own life, right? So what I do is I listen to a lot of classical music from movies to inspire me. So this is what I usually do when it comes to Hans Zimmer, who's one of my favorite musicians in the world. Thank you, Germany, for giving us Hans Zimmer. Right, Alexa, play the soundtrack from the movie Interstellar.
Interstellar, original motion picture soundtrack, radio from Spotify.
So it starts off with a cornfield chase, one of the first songs. Now, the movie Interstellar, the movie was kind of average, it was decent. The soundtrack is unbelievable. It's this gorgeous sonic architecture that gets me into this incredible zone to be able to think clearly and get much more done. Imagine going to a movie and there's no music in the background. It's dry. And so for me, when I work, I listen to instrumental music. I listen to Hans Zimmer's soundtrack from Man of Steel. I listen to the soundtrack from the motion picture The Natural, Randy Newman. I listen to Enya sometimes. As long as there's no English words that are being sung, it gets me into this wonderful creative state. I also love listening to the original Blade Runner soundtrack and anything that Vangelis makes. Now, Vangelis, he's from Greece originally. He's an amazing musician. He doesn't know how to read sheet music. You don't have to. You think with your heart. The same thing, this is a good background track for this. The same thing with Paul McCartney. He doesn't know how to read sheet music. And the way John Lennon taught him to play the guitar was John Lennon was a lefty, he's a righty, was using a mirror. Alexa, stop. I don't want to get a copyright violation from YouTube. Yeah. All right. And thanks for letting me open up to you guys today. I know I usually don't do that, but I don't hide anything from my students. Yeah. Okay. All right. So if you're in a shit mood, sorry for swearing, and you're depressed, then get a treadmill in your office, your home office, whatever it is. Get a stand-up desk like I've got here, and listen to some damn classical music to get you in the zone. Make it fun for yourself. Or if you're at work and you sit beside people that are loud and stuff, you're always on a conference call, right? You can listen to music this way here. It blocks out stuff as well. Listen to classical music, man. It makes it so much more fun to work. Yeah. Yeah. And if you wake up in the morning and you tell yourself, I'm going to work, then, with all due respect, and I say it with love in my heart, you're doing it wrong. You're not doing what you're meant to do in this life. I want you to find your passion. And my job, my humble job, serving my students. And unlike some teachers, I treat my student like a customer. And I love teachers. My job is to provide you, and this is where I proposed to my wife, Christine. She said yes in Paris. My job is I'm a waiter, okay? And when you go to a restaurant, there's a lot of items on the menu. If you want the souffle, order it early because it takes 20 minutes. There's a lot of items on the menu. And you can only choose one or two items. And so my job is to expose you to all different types of jobs within business, and you pick and choose what you want. So hopefully that's a good analogy. What movie is this from? What is the soup du jour? Oh, that's the soup of the day. That sounds great. I'll have that. Thank you. All right. All right. Sarlik wrote here, hey Chris, I'm feeling weak, stressed, and sad for the past few months. I love you. I'm with you. These past few years have taken a toll on my mental health. I know what you mean. It feels like life is just throwing punches at me. Yeah. And then you said there's part two. Let me find part two. I don't see it getting better anytime soon. Like, I'm getting sadder and more annoyed. I don't know how to handle it. Yeah. You're not alone. We're all in this together, brother. And a lot of people are feeling depressed and mental health issues. And it's not a surprise because of COVID. Like, this is not normal. And even great corporations like Nike, you know, what they did recently was they gave all of their employees a week off. And they told them, you are not allowed to work during that time off. You need to spend time with family and reconnect. Do not work. And, you know, God created the world in 7 days, actually 6 days, and he rested on the seventh. Of course, he didn't have to rest on the seventh day. But he's basically telling us, you got to take that 1 day off a week. Otherwise, you'll burn out. You know, for my Hasidic friends, it's Friday. For my friends that follow Islam, it's Saturday. And for me, it's actually, or maybe the other way around, sorry. And for me, it's Sunday. That's my day of rest. You have to take time off and reconnect with yourself, your family, etc. Otherwise, you'll burn out. It's hard. I've been there many times. And I learned from Warren Buffett the value of saying no. So Buffett said you have to learn to say no to people, or just don't answer certain emails. Because if you focus too much on making other people happy, and you know that you can only serve one master, but if you focus too much on fulfilling all requests from everybody that asks you to do something, you're hurting your family, yourself, and your happiness. And so there's no shame in being selfish sometimes. And tell yourself when somebody asks you to do something, if I accept this, is this hurting my relationship with my family? Or is this making me a little bit too stressed out so I can't think clearly at work? And there's no shame in, I recommend taking at least 1 day off a year when mentally you're just drained. Because you don't just skip work when you're physically sick. When you're mentally not there, there's nothing wrong with that at all. Nothing wrong with that. And I used to do that at least 1 day a year when I worked for other people. Take time off. And that's why my MBA program in the first semester in the personal growth track, I give you all a system to be able to schedule each day and accomplish much, much more. And scheduling rest is crucial as well. And it helps me with my depression, but we're all different. What helps me with my depression much more so is exercising. So please make sure you exercise every day. Every day. I don't think there's a single person on this planet that's ever gone to the gym and worked out and told themselves after that workout, God, I wish I didn't work out. Said no one ever. I'm with you, brother. And I'm so sorry you're going through depression. It's something I've struggled with my whole life. Yeah. But we can beat it together. Start with exercise. Yeah. All right. And you can always reach out to me. Reach out to me now if you want. Go to support@harounventures.com and we'll set up a one-on-one confidential Zoom call. Okay. All right. All right, let's see here. Give me one second here. I'm going to remember your name too. I'll look for your email, please. Okay. All right, next up I got Christoph, who wrote, we can choose our mood though. We are in control of that. It may not be easy sometimes, but it does get easier. Listen to Alan Watts, James Allen, or whoever you connect with in your experience. And then Christoph said here, I don't see an end to it while I went through it too, Sarlik. Depression. Trust me, you will get through it. You will. You will, Sarlik. We will. And I'll pray for you. Okay? And reach out to me. I've got many more tips for you as well. Yeah. And thank you for telling me. All right, next up I got Marin. Marin, how are you? Marin is one of my amazing MBA students. She is from Kenya originally. She lives in the United Kingdom, and she's great, and she's starting an incredible company. And I want to tell you about it, but I can't yet because she's launching soon, and when she gives me permission to do it, I'm going to tell the world. It's awesome. So Myron wrote, hi, Chris and everyone. Hope you and yours are well. The presentation today with Payton was amazing. Thank you for Payton. Thank you, Payton, for joining it and doing that. Payton is amazing. Thank you. All right. Next up, Christoph is saying, with respect to depression, and you're talking directly here to Sarthak, you said, allow the process to take place, Sarthak. Seek and you shall find. It doesn't occur instantly and may take a while, but as you seek to realize the personal reasons for your difficult times, you will realize and learn about the transformational process you're going through. I believe it's a personal inner journey most of the time, and it's difficult, but only improves our life experiences. And then you wrote, take care, Sarthak, and I'll be praying for you as well, Sarthak. And I hope we get a chance to talk over Zoom confidentially one-on-one. Yeah. I've been there. I am there. Yeah. And the body is very self-correcting too. If you treat this right, this works much better. That's why I exercise constantly. Yeah. And then Daria said, I really was hoping you can get to my super chat. Oh, I've never done this before. Okay. What does that mean? Oh, I see. Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, you donated $5. I'm so sorry. I don't get that often. And then you asked a question there as well. I thank you for the $5, but I didn't answer your question. I'm awful. I'm sorry. Okay. Thank you. All that will go directly to Project Magoo. Thank you. You wrote here. Sorry about that. Daria said, is there a blockchain course you'd recommend that actually teaches you to build a cryptocurrency with actually uses and not just blockchain analytics? Absolutely. And I'm going to show you. Okay. The best cryptocurrency teacher on the planet is this dude. He's on Udemy. Give me 1 second. I found him before. I'm going to go. Yeah. His name is Kirill. Yeah. Kirill Udemy. I met him. He's from Russia. He lives in Melbourne. Great guy. And he's really good with blockchain area, data scientist. Yeah. So what you can do is go to Kirill's, search for Kirill, and he has a course here about how to create a blockchain. Let me see if it's on this tab here. Give me 1 second, please. Okay, here it is. Blockchain. Here we go. Here it is. This is it, brother. Okay, good. And he partnered with, oh my God, this is the dream team here. Yeah. Blockchain A to Z, how to build your first blockchain. Okay. This is the authority on cryptos. Listen to this dude, nobody else. Yeah, he's great. Yeah, Kirill. So check this out. Do a search on that. Looks like he trademarked that as well. Smart guy. And yeah, you can't go wrong with Kirill. That's a nice ring to it. You can't go wrong with Kirill. Yeah. And I'm so sorry, Darius, for not answering your question faster. Thank you. A company is only as good as its customer support, and I'm not doing a good job today. All right, and I got to wrap this up soon, guys. I've got my platinum and gold MBA office hours coming up. Okay. Give me 1 second here. Hold on a second. Momento, por favor. All right. Next up, I got Dinesh. Dinesh, how are you? Great to see you again. Dinesh wrote, hello, Chris. How are you doing? I'm always great. Thank you. Hope you're doing well. Then you wrote, I joined late today due to some work, but I made it nonetheless. Thank you. You didn't miss much at the beginning because I messed up an interview and then we had to redo it, which was great. Payton was great. I sucked as always. You wrote, my question is, how do big companies start a new division? Do they go lean like a startup and pour a lot of money in? Yeah. So they all have their own R&D departments, research and development, right? And even my company, I actually get R&D tax credits for starting new products, right? And so you got to talk to accountants to understand how to structure it. But each individual team in a big company, if they're a well-run company, they have a budget, right? And so they have a certain dollar amount they can use to kind of test a new product or new division, right? And they have their own P&L, profit and loss statement as well. Yeah. And the way it works at Amazon, for example, is whenever Jeff Bezos has one of his product managers start a new division, what he does is he has them write a press release today that's going to be released 1 or 2 years in the future. And the employee will submit that press release that's going to be released 1 or 2 years in the future to Jeff Bezos today. And Jeff Bezos will look at it, and Jeff Bezos will say, okay, cool. So we're going to issue this press release in 1 or 2 years. So here's where we are now. Here's where we need to be based on your press release, there's a gap. Let's focus on filling that gap. Here's your annual budget for it. And they all have benchmarks as well. They have to adhere to, like, I don't know, efficacy of the product, alpha test it, then beta test it, make sure it works, all that stuff. Yeah. All right, and Christoph said, I had friends who had a full head of gray hair, all gray, in their early 20s. Sorry, don't worry, at least you have hair, bro. I started balding in my 20s, and by mid-30s, full on bald. Dude, being bald is dope. Michael Jordan, he does it good, man. He looks cool. I don't even know if Michael Jordan is bald, but he looks great the way he shaves his head. It looks great. That's what I would do too. I think it looks cooler being bald than having hair, especially if you're The Rock. Yeah. I love The Rock. Who doesn't love The Rock? I don't think I've ever heard anybody say, I don't like The Rock. All right. Fred, how are you? Fred Mendoza is one of my amazing MBA students. He's awesome. He's helped me a lot with this options course. He's great. He thoroughly understands the healthcare sector, which is a sector he's in DC. He's also an expert on the side in the real estate and the options market as well. And he inspires me. Fred, great to see you as always, brother. And thanks for that email you sent me the other day about the size of my Excel spreadsheet getting smaller. Thanks. I'm trying to optimize it. Pratik, brother from another mother. Dude, it's been too long. So Pratik is one of my amazing MBA students. You wrote the video quality was a little low. Yeah, before it was, earlier today, I think. Yeah. So streaming wise, and let me check my dashboard right now. It's working now. The issue was before that I was sharing, I was trying to do a monitor share of video. Which never works out perfectly, but in terms of my speed here, let me show you here. So internet speed. It's good to see you, man. Internet speed. Yeah. I always go to speed test here. Yeah. And I looked at getting all I give a damn about is not download, by the way. I just care about upload. You got to have at least 10 megs per second. I usually get between 30 and 40. It's now going to show you upload in a second here. Here we go. Yeah. So we're good. That's pretty good, actually, considering the fact that I'm actually streaming. Yeah, we're good. We're good. Yeah. I was going to get fiber installed, but it was too expensive. I live in the technology capital of the world, and cell phones suck here. And yeah. All right. But great to see you, Pratik, and it's killing me. I want to tell everybody that who you were dating, but I know I'm not allowed to. But you inspire me, man. Yeah. Superstar. Okay. All right, Yogesh, hey, how are you? Okay, so I asked earlier, I asked people, do you want me to do just general Q&A or 7 topics to start the webcast? And I asked for feedback. So in this hand, I'll do 7 topics. Here, I'll do Q&A. So somebody said 7 topics, Q&A. Oh, we're tied so far. Okay. All right, and let me see if there's anybody else. Wow. Okay, so that's it. Only a couple people answered. So it's a tie. Okay, let me rethink it. I think next week I'm going to do Q&A again, just like this, and I'll ask again. Yeah. And pull in the audience. All right, great. All right, next up, I've got Olaniyi. Olaniyi wrote, how can I become a financial consultant for my business? And how do I sell my skills to companies rather than being an employee? Yeah. Earmuff time. There's nothing worse than spending the rest of your life being someone else's bitch. I know it's kind of a harsh thing to say, but I think you can only reach your full potential if you branch out and do your own thing. If you want. It's not for everybody. Yeah. So there's over 100,000 consulting firms in the United States. It's very fragmented. And a lot of people that work as contractors classify themselves as consultants. So the most important thing in the consulting industry is, and for all the people that work at big consulting firms like McKinsey, Accenture, BCG, etc., all the people that make it to the top are called partners. And what partners are salespeople, right? That's how you make partner. You find gigs, consulting gigs. And the way to be able to find consulting gigs is to network like crazy. Go to industry trade shows in person or online these days, given COVID, and network a lot that way. or take my MBA program. I teach you how to network on steroids. Or go to my website, harounventures.com, and then just click on my networking book. And I don't go there that much anymore because people complained I was overdoing it. But I'm going to go there anyway. So if you go to Haroun Ventures, and then you scroll down, hold on, right here, and just sign up here and download my networking book. It's a couple hundred pages, and I teach you things based on many years of experience that's helped me raise a ton of money and do okay, whatever. It's all about networking. Relationships are more important than product knowledge, especially in the consulting industry. If you have your own consulting firm, because you live and die by how many customers you have. You got to network a lot. Yeah, always in sell mode. Yeah, and the best entrepreneurs and CEOs are all great salespeople. Yeah. And good luck to you. All right, Christoph said, I like the Q&A format, Chris, because you already bless us with so many daily awesome content. Thank you. By the way, I bought your MBA Silver program a couple months ago. I just haven't started yet, but I'm very excited. Thank you, Christoph. I appreciate that, brother. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, and I'm adding the options stuff to class 89 this year for everybody that already bought it. So now we're at 3 people that want Q&A and 2 that want topics. Okay. Okay, so Q&A is winning for now. Thank you. All right, next up, Gohar wrote, any memorizing hack? Yeah. I usually don't memorize stuff because if you memorize something, you're not going to understand it and you'll forget it. I usually try to understand things, which is why I love to use a lot of props. But with memorizing, just repeat it over and over and over again. Like, for example, with Payton Kaleiwahea this morning, I didn't want to mispronounce his last name. So when I was getting ready, brushing my teeth, I kept saying his name over and over and over again. Payton Kaleiwahea. As Tony Robbins said, repetition is the mother of all skill. But I was teaching my children that if you have to memorize a lot of stuff, like they were trying to memorize stuff for a history exam, or Andrew was. And so I was telling him a story. And it was a crazy story, right? He was learning about the Civil War, and he had to learn it in order. And so I taught it to him in order by basically creating a crazy story where Abraham Lincoln started in D.C., and then he went up to Mars because on Mars he met with a certain person. Then he went over to this asteroid here called Gettysburg, and he gave this address. And then he came, and it's such a ridiculous story. I know, it's out there. But he didn't forget it. It's easy to memorize. So I love to use a lot of visualization. It's kind of like when I meet somebody, I visualize based on their name. So I met this woman once when I took the Dale Carnegie course back when I was 19 years old. Her name is Cynthia Mustacho. And I remember her name because I thought to myself of how funny it would be if she had a massive mustache. I know it sounds silly, but you'll never forget that sort of thing. So with me, if you're not sure how to pronounce my last name, just picture me looking like a baboon, which I do. That's 11 o'clock. That means I got to wrap it up. What a great song. But you visualize. I can't believe I'm ending on a baboon of a note. But if you visualize me looking like a baboon, like I do, like I just did, I always do, then you'll remember my last name rhymes with baboon. Haroun Baboon. I know it sounds silly, but anyway, when you use simplistic stuff like that, you tend to never forget it. Now, I see there's a lot more questions. I'm so sorry I won't be able to get tons more. I won't be able to get to them this week. So thank you very much for joining me this week. Thank you especially to Payton Kaleiwahea for joining us. Great guy. I learned a ton. I hope you did as well. Thank you, Payton. Thank you all. Now, if this was helpful, and only if this call was helpful, please like. It'll help me out. Asking you'll receive. Please like and subscribe and all that good stuff. If you subscribe to my vlog, I'll see you every day at 8 a.m. my time. That's when my vlogs drop. If you're in my MBA Platinum and Gold class, I'll see you in about 15 minutes on our MBA Office Hours. And by the way, if anybody's interested in signing up for next year's Gold and Platinum program, which is going to start January 10th of next year and end in December next year, just please look out because I'm going to be marketing it very, very soon. If you already purchased silver and you want to upgrade, I will have a special offer for you coming pretty soon. So God bless all of you. Stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy, exercise a lot, keeps you happier and all that great stuff. This was so much fun. This has been my favorite webcast so far, mainly because of Payton and the quality of your awesome questions. God bless you all. Have a great weekend. I'll see you next Thursday and every Thursday at 8 a.m. My time. And as always, I end with a video that I licensed from the Silicon Valley Historical Association that inspires me almost as much as my students do. God bless you and thank you.
When you grow up, you tend to get told that the world is the way it is, and your life is just to live your life inside the world, try not to bash into the walls too much, try to have a nice family life, have fun, save a little money. But life, that's a very limited life. Life can be much broader once you discover one simple fact, and that is everything around you that you call life was made up by people that were no smarter than you. And you can change it. You can influence it. You can build your own things that other people can use. And the minute that you understand that you can poke life and actually something will, if you push in, something will pop out the other side, that you can change it, you can mold it. That's maybe the most important thing, is to shake off this erroneous notion that life is there and you're just going to live in it, versus embrace it, change it, improve it, make your mark upon it. I think that's very important. And however you learn that, once you learn it, you'll want to change life and make it better, because it's kind of messed up in a lot of ways. Once you learn that, you'll never be the same again.